Welcome back, everybody. Hello. Welcome back to the second of our two pre-recorded episodes as we move over. This is our last episode in this wonderful space.
Sad.
Very sad, but we'll come back. Hopefully not much will have changed on the stream's end.
Hopefully it'll look exactly the same.
Yes, if it looks really different, you know we fucked up. A nameless shout out, because I don't know if he wants his name out there, to my friend and person that we're borrowing the space from, who let us use the space. So thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We're so happy to have taken this journey in here and now taking it elsewhere, but you never know what the future may hold. So we will be switching things over. You'll be watching this, again, pre-recorded. Hopefully we'll be in the chat saying, hey, we are in the chat for the episode we already recorded. It's very confusing. Yes. So, thank you guys so much for joining us as always. We will be jumping into chapter 60. We are still within the Ruins of Joiruc, trying to find our way out through the fog, possibly reaching an end. We've got a little bit of a bit of guidance from archaeologist, historian Isidore Morovic.
Isidore the Explorer.
Isidore the Explorer.
You brought it up.
I know.
It's your fault. I shouldn't have mentioned it. I would have never.
Yeah, right now it's just gonna be in my head every time. Isidore the Explorer.
Isidore the Explorer.
Anything people would like to say? Shoutouts?
Do I have anything? No, we're going back to live December 6th. I think you already said that.
Yeah, so next Sunday we will not be recording. We will just be streaming the pre-recorded episode, and then the week after that we'll be back. We'll be back live.
Everybody had a great Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
That hasn't happened.
That has
I mean, that has happened.
happened.
Now it has.
This type jokes are no good. This
Yeah.
is so confusing.
We'll get there, guys.
Well,
Yes.
since today is a slim day for holidays, although it's just great to be alive and healthy and well and be here in the moment.
That's fair.
Yesterday was Small Business Saturday, so hopefully you supported the small businesses because I really need it right now.
I really
Shout out
enjoyed
to
it.
my mom, who's a small business
I'm
owner.
sure we bought a bunch of stuff for Christmas, Hanukkah,
That's
Kwanzaa, all the stuff.
So many stuff.
So
many
and
things.
it's also National French Toast Day yesterday, so you can do both of those at the same time.
I think you're
But
cheating.
Today,
Yeah, you're cheating by talking about a day 6 from the
All
29th.
right. But today, the 29th, is Electronic Greetings Day. So send somebody an email that you're thinking about.
Or a Twitch chat.
A Twitch chat.
Send someone an email that says, subscribe to your favorite channel.
Right. So we're saying hello to you electronically, and we appreciate you.
Or
And
Jib Jab. You guys remember Jib Jab?
Yeah, those like
Yes.
animated cards.
I
Yeah.
love Jib
And
Jab.
just
so
a good
much-
I
one
did my
because I
best.
just love desserts. Tomorrow is National Moose Day.
You're doing the whole weekend here, girl.
I'm
Dude,
doing it.
today is
So
only.
grab some chocolate mousse and
Oh,
literally
Moose the dessert.
Mousse the dessert. Yeah.
Oh.
MOUSSE.
Not like my best friend.
I was gonna
No,
say,
no.
my nickname, and there are people in my life who only refer to me as Moose.
Oh, there you go.
It's your old username. Had
Free
something
Moose.
with
shit.
Free Moose.
Yeah.
There you go. And especially after the
It's not my
holidays, Monday's also National Give Space Day. So give some
Give some
space.
space.
Okay.
We should all be giving
So
space.
today sucks. Yesterday was great. Tomorrow will be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
This is good.
it's a whole weekend of just celebrating life.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Well, thank you so much. And we will throw it to the intro, and then we'll come to the other side, and we'll jump right in, as we always do. See you later.
Here we go.
I'm gonna die.
Oh. We all need a long rest.
Welcome back.
Well, not health wise, just
With those immortal words of D&D, we need a long rest.
We need a long rest.
True.
Uttered frequently,
Still true.
we jump in. In Chapter 59, All-Out Fog Slog, the party used the terrain to their advantage as they cut through the lizard folk ambush near the south gate of Joiruc. By keeping our backs to crumbling walls and ducking under the lips of overhanging rooftops, we mostly avoided being targeted by the arcane sharpshooter, the importance of which was highlighted by the one time Graven did take an accelerated ice knife to the chest and was nearly knocked unconscious. Our tactics allowed us to pick off the foot soldiers and outlast the shamans, and when the sharpshooter felt the tides turning against it, it fled and disappeared into the ruins, perhaps buying time to fight another day.
Please no.
While Erland collected the horses who had fled the scene of the battle, Graven directed Safira to the dwelling that Beezaura had disappeared into, where they found a sizable hole that the lizard folk had excavated leading down into the ground. We followed this tunnel to a larger cavern that housed a subterranean lake, where an unconscious halfling lay motionless on a stone platform in the center. Recognizing Beezaura's shield and weapon that had been discarded to the side, we made a plan for a rescue attempt. Complicated significantly by what we believed to be an enormous reptile lurking just below the surface.
What do you mean believe to be? It bit me.
Not yet, it didn't.
By tying two ropes together, we made a guide rail for Safira to pull herself along while riding a small raft. She made it to the middle of the lake where she was able to shake Beezaura from her catatonic state. The addition of a second passenger made the return trip not quite as smooth, the splashing attracting the attention of the giant crocodile. But a couple of well-timed leaps into the waiting arms of Orba and Graven kept things from escalating into a full-on conflict. Safira's ankle suffered a nasty scrape, but we escaped to the surface, reunited, to plan our next steps. We'd already come this far, and we no longer needed to explain to our guide why we wanted to make an unusual stop, so we resolved to find the east gate and travel the Isimil border until we found the tree marked on our map. After reaching another intersection, we had a choice between an unhindered path and one cut off by a pair of copper-claw bears, but as the bears were blocking the east road, we vowed to stay the course, rather than get lost among the ruin. A failed distraction attempt forced us to summon what little strength we had left to fight again, and despite doing his best to parry their powerful blows, Graven was clipped by the swipe of a paw and blacked out as he hit the floor. Another volley of strikes from the remainder of the party was enough to keep our cleric from reaching a point of critical danger, and though it cost us a scare and a healing potion, we opened up an avenue to keep traveling in our desired direction. Not long after our tussle with the bears, we spotted what looked to be more intelligent life materializing in the fog, but a closer inspection revealed them to be scarecrows cleverly rigged up with pelopa mushrooms in their eyes to produce an ominous glowing effect. We learned that it was the handiwork of a historian and researcher named Isidora Morovic, who had come to Joiruc to study the legend of Falgest and his dark spirits. And though she was apprehensive of allowing 5 strangers into the house she'd boarded up for safety, she kindly took a chance and gave us a place to catch our breath. It was a much-needed bit of respite, and we learned a great deal about Isidora's line of work, as well as some information about our surroundings. She directed us to the East Gate, which wasn't far from here, and clued us in on where we might be able to find our elusive tree along the border. Now that we were able to get our bearings, we could feel the morale and the resolve of the party rising, and we asked ourselves, what were the odds we'd be able to slip out of the ruins without another battle with its inhabitants? Was it time to make a more concrete plan of action for what to do if we did, in fact, find a soul shelter beneath the aforementioned Crown's Gold tree? And was Graven glad there was nobody around to see it when he got smacked so hard he forgot to use the stone's endurance? We find out now on chapter 60 of A Peek Beneath the Veil.
Oh, those are getting meaner.
They are. Some serious burns.
Hi there, Matt here, DM of Tabletop Notch. For frequent viewers of our stream, it probably comes as no surprise that our campaign deals with dark themes and mature content, including but not limited to foul language, acts of violence, and suggestive situations. Tonight's episode in particular features scenes that may be disturbing to some, specifically those sensitive to depictions of suicide and or self-harm. As always, consider your mental well-being and assess your comfort level with these topics before viewing. Thank you, and enjoy the show. The interior of Isadora's little makeshift studio is cramped with a number of people huddling inside. But the ability to see all four walls around you is a comfort at this particular moment. The sprawling, foggy wastes of Joiruc, making every broken signpost, every swirl of dust, into a potential threat just outside your visible range. At her workbench, Isadora frequently, and not in as a subtle manner as she thinks, checks over her shoulder at the party. It's obvious to you that the dangers of the ruin are not lost on her, a place where help is often well out of reach if you needed it in a hurry. At one point, she carefully lifts a sack that clatters a little bit as she places it on the table, and from it she takes a pair of rusty daggers that she examines very thoroughly. Though you can tell she's tempering her expectations. Even from where you're sitting, you can tell that they're not elven in design, unlikely candidates for Falguest's corrupted weapon of choice from long ago. She continues to sort of turn the daggers and look at them a little bit. She has a light up on the wall that she holds a little closer sometimes. You can see her a couple times kind of takes another one. Party has a moment here. Has everyone done their short rest things? Great.
Yeah. Are they daggers that we recognize if they're not elven?
Again, they look they're rusted, they're old, maybe human in design, but no flourish to them at all. They seem purely functional, possibly people who tried to travel through the ruins and died doing so, or, something to that effect.
Do I still have Detect Magic up?
You do, I think, yeah. For maybe another. For what?
Just a glimpse at her daggers.
We'll say that during that time when you were walking around, you did take a look at that, and none of them at all. Okay. But if we're saying that the short rest is kind of coming to an end, then as is your Detect Magic.
Orba's gonna lean up against the window again because she's outside. Yep. She's gonna call out to Erland. Erland? Give me your map.
The roads north?
Yes, please.
Pull out the map.
You can just leave it there.
Yeah.
Orba takes it. Alright, thank you.
What are you sketching?
Well, we don't have a guide anymore. So I'm looking at our possible routes and seeing how I can get us back onto the road.
Alright, I don't think... We know, based on what the Ackley elves told us, we're going to proceed through the eastern gate, go south briefly, and then follow the border of EC and Mill straight north.
But we don't want to go through there, so we need to curve to the northwest at some point.
Yes, if we head straight along the border of EC and Mill...
Yes.
And once we see a sign for there, which we will see a sign for, we can head west. Sorry, east, rather, or west. West, yeah.
Yes, so just following the curve of whatever borderlines we see, and that should theoretically lead us out to the west.
There will be some sort of sign into there.
There's signs saying what
It won't say...
it'll say like green.
It's the greens and reds.
You'll see a line of posts, but it won't say you're entering the region. Yes.
But we'll know if we're heading north that if we see a line of signs that's there, and that's when we can head westward. And I'll sort of point to the map, having given it to Orba, and that's where we can reconnect with the sort of Ackley Grove northern loop, perhaps there.
All right.
Towards the top of the grove and head up to Leopold's garrison.
All right. We know where we're going.
I'm ready to leave whenever everyone else is.
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
Sort of rising from like a meditative position.
And as you guys sort of get up a little bit, Isadora kind of turns. Leaving then?
Yeah, cheers. We really appreciate your, space.
Good luck. Be safe.
Anything we should know about the gate itself? Is it easy to get in and out?
It is. Unlike a couple of the other gates, it's always open. I think it's broken. You don't have to actually open and close the gates.
That's a relief.
However, the lower half of the gate is sort of tilted up a bit. You might have to stand on it to weigh it down to get the horses through.
Okay.
It's easy enough for one person to climb up over it, but the horses may have some trouble. Like I said, it's not difficult. You just might need to slow them down.
You've never come across any lizard folk ambushes there or anything, have you?
Not at that gate, no, but the lizard folk are around in the grove sometimes.
Is the lizard folk presence less once we sort of exit Joiruc?
I couldn't say that for sure.
When you traveled through the east gate, you said last.
Yes, I did.
It's fairly. And did you come from the south or the north?
I came from the south.
Was it fairly smooth sailing, as it were?
I didn't run into any, but I've heard from some of the pat wolves that they've seen more of them
Do
than
be
usual.
careful, because both pat wolves seem to have said that, both that we've seen anyway, that the lizard folk presence has increased.
Yes,
For whatever reason.
I've heard the
so
same.
Be careful.
You mentioned you were planning to go and see Dr. Veto, correct?
At some point, yes. Once I feel that I might have identified where where his original residence was.
Last we heard, he was actually stuck in Mukmu because of the lockdown in Tuktu.
Oh yes, I heard something about that. I was hoping it might be over by the time I get back.
Hopefully by the time you get back, yes, but just in case you leave soon, he was still in Mukmu a couple days ago.
Thank you.
Of course.
Are you sure there's nothing we can leave with you? To thank you for letting us stay.
No, that's all right. Thank you.
We look forward to buying your book.
Please, feel free to let the libraries know that you're looking for it. That always helps.
Oh yes, create some buzz.
Yes.
We travel quite a lot, so.
It should be at some of the more major libraries, but the more it's requested, the more you find it in smaller places as well.
Oh, we
Right,
can do
well,
that.
we'll be happy to do
Absolutely.
that.
Well, safe travels.
Yes. You
Good
as well.
luck.
Thank you. And as soon as you open the door, there's sort of a tightening of the group as you see once again the fog kind of creeping along. Like in the interior of the house, there was a little bit sort of manifesting on the floorboards, but as soon as you get out again, it kind of washes over you. And again, that vision of no more than like 20 feet ahead, that sensation kind of happens. You guys start getting your horses ready. And the moment you're now out of earshot of Beezaura, and if there's anything you guys want to say before.
Hop on the horse and sort of.
Riding it then? Guys were walking them before?
Should probably walk them again.
Hop back off the horse.
Maybe
Is
at
it
least until we're
different?
not
Like,
on cobblestone.
it's not that different in terms of sound, is it?
It's really not. If you're moving slowly, yeah, it's really not that different. When you're sitting on horseback, maybe something on the rooftop might be able to see you easier.
Right.
So we can see stuff on the ground. We can deal with
Yeah,
I mean,
traps better.
that's true.
In terms of making sound, there isn't a big difference. But
Okay, alright.
Are we still
gonna walk
taking
mine.
along his horse?
Yes,
Should,
I believe
yes.
Yeah.
we could lose
who
one.
is leading his horse if you're
I'll
taking
take it.
along?
And I'll sort of. I'll lead the way.
I always forget, and I was like, I'll carry everyone's horse.
Good boy.
I'll lead the way then with my horse on foot.
You guys starting to move along?
Gosh,
So
dramatic music.
So everybody is prepared to travel south very briefly, so we can investigate whatever this map
Yes.
Yeah.
is locating.
it shouldn't be too much of a detour.
She said take the first right here to get to the east gate. Yes.
Yeah, she
Correct.
did.
And then a right
And then
after.
another right. Yes.
My one thing, we will see how long it does actually take us to get there, but if we're anticipating on meeting some kind of a resistance, I'm not feeling great
We should
No,
rest.
we
I
should
think
definitely
before
rest
we,
before. I
before
agree.
we
before we mess with anything.
let's get out of.
Yes.
Let's exit the east gate, make some distance, and then perhaps rest before we
I'm
make
not
for the tree in the
fighting
morning.
anymore today.
I'm wondering if it's that nearby, though. She said it was a very brief southern thing. I don't
Well,
know.
maybe then we find somewhere just outside Joiruc to camp.
That's what I'm saying. We should just exit
I'd
the
rather
joint
not be in
first.
this fog anymore.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
no, I agree.
yes.
Yes. I'm just saying, I think we're going to hit the tree sooner than dusk.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, given that a short rest is an hour, so now it's probably getting close to 5:30, almost 6 o'clock. So it's you wouldn't be making camp crazy early if within the next couple of hours you made it.
Okay. All right,
Somewhere close to the gate outside.
let's go.
Horses begin to move along the road, clomping along. You lead them. In a short while, after resuming your quiet, steady march down the road, get to another intersection.
There it is.
Just this one. This one has the option of continuing forward or breaking to the right. And at the middle of this T, you find, once again, one of the rotating wooden devices. That, if you take Isadora at her word, a right here should lead you to the east gate, without the risk of exposing yourself by pushing back the fog. Although you have the option there with the device, sort of walk your horses along to it.
I say we trust the way she gave us.
I agree.
All right.
So lead to the
Right
right.
it is.
Make a right.
Turning, leaving the wheel as is. You ride a little further, and the eastern walls of Joiruc become visible at first. A darkened rectangle on the horizon. It seems to be pushing itself toward you very slowly, threatening to envelop the party, almost like pulling up the covers in bed, and providing a similar mental comfort as the possibility of wrangling yourselves free from the ruin becomes a reality. Before you get close enough to make out the details of what might be at the gate, another rod of light pierces through the mist. And Erland said he was in front.
Everyone down, I'm gonna hit the deck.
Yeah, me too.
So the light, you're in the street.
Oh, can I drop to the deck, and roll to the nearest house?
Give me an acrobatics check.
Yeah.
11?
11. Hit the deck. You roll off to the side. So the road, because you're heading toward the wall, and the light seems to be coming from the direction of the wall, you kind of have to roll between two houses, so that over your left shoulder, kind of and up, is where the light's coming from. You duck behind it, and you can see the light kind of searching a little bit, touching the ground near you as it moves around.
Does it seem to care at all about the horses, or?
It doesn't.
Okay.
Seeing him go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll say that people generally kind of ducked out. It was following Erland, so the rest of you had more time to kind of quickly find a spawn.
Did we all go in literally the exact same alleyway?
People probably made a split
Yeah,
to two
we
different
probably
sides.
split.
Two different
Maybe
sides.
3 on one side, 2 on the other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Us three?
Sure.
Do we want to try to maybe flank whoever this is? He might be near the gate.
It seemed like the light was coming from that way, yes.
Get the
It
jump
also
on.
seemed like it was coming from high up.
Pretty high.
Yeah.
And-
Like maybe in the there's gatehouses like Erland and Dodd went into, or maybe even higher than that. It's hard to tell.
Do we want to try this?
Yes.
All right. And with the fog, can we see them too?
Yeah, across the
Across
street.
the street?
Yeah. And you, since you know where they are, you can see the outlines of them. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Orba's gonna look at them.
This is
I'll sort of point to the
that
horses.
all over again.
So I'm gonna look at Safira.
It's because we did so well at charades.
Yeah, we practiced for this weeks ago.
I'm gonna kind of.
So
Yes.
I'm gonna look to Safira and I'm gonna sort of point inwards so that if this is where we saw the light, I'm gonna sort of move this way and sort of try and dart through.
Like around the back of the house.
Exactly, yeah. So I'm gonna sort of start to move quietly back to the house and try and start to keep moving. I'll actually use this for reference. I'll start if he's over here somewhere.
Yeah, it seems like the light's coming from here, down.
Yeah. So and if we rolled over here, I'm gonna
You guys
loop
are
around
right.
behind some of these houses and start trying to flank them on this side, if that makes sense.
Better just be this
I hate this guy. This guy's such a
Moving through.
Why
Give me a
do we have
stealth
to do
check.
this? We just leave.
Are you coming? Is Safira coming with?
Yeah.
Okay, Ben, give me a stealth check as well.
We can leave the gates.
whip up
why does he
14.
have to do this? Can he just let us go?
9.
Oh.
As you guys are sort of skittering
Yeah,
through,
coming with me again.
I'm sorry.
there's a little half wall between two of the homes, and Erland kind of jumps over. And as Safira goes to vault over it, one of the rocks kind of slips and there's a little dusting up that happens. And at that moment, you can see the light kind of.
I'm gonna drop as soon as I can.
You see the light kind of passing over the top of you, and Erland's got his back to one of the homes there.
Is the light still hovering around Safira?
Yeah, kind of. Can't quite see her, but it looks
And
like
I'm gonna
it's
kind of
searching.
to Erland.
I'm gonna keep moving then quietly.
What are you guys doing during this time?
Should we try to move up one house at a time? Maybe even pull its eye away from
That's
from
what
the
I was,
two of them.
Yes, that's what I was thinking as well. I could try to cast a spell to maybe draw its attention toward us rather than it being so aware of them, you know?
Yes.
Yes, but why don't we try to advance maybe a house down?
Yeah.
Does that mean we have
you
to...
or I go first, maybe?
I can go first.
Okay.
Does that mean we would have to go back onto the road with the horse
You go
and
around
slip
the back
back
of the
in?
house.
There's
Yeah.
an alley that way.
All of the houses, they're not so close up to you. You can walk around, as you saw on the battle map. Most of the houses, you can like circle all the way around them. Yeah. So you guys circling around.
I think one of us should go in the street to draw its eye away from them.
I'm the smallest.
If you go that way,
The least amount of getting hit.
Keep your shield up.
we'll go around the back and we'll meet you in the next alley.
Okay. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Coming out. You can see now that you're out in the road, you can see the light, the little rod of light as it's like passing over the houses on the other side. It seems to have their attention on that. Are you doing anything?
I'm coming right around the
You're
front
coming
of the
right
house.
onto the street, yeah.
I'm gonna. The light's going that way though?
Yeah, it's pointing to the other side of the street where they are.
Okay. I'm going to sort of just knock my shield.
How?
Like to make a noise.
Pounding it?
Like to make a noise, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Just, and then I'm gonna jump back.
Okay, and at that point, light goes over and it's searching for you. Can see it like you're right at the edge, and you can see the light getting clipped by the edge of the house as it's kind of dancing around looking for you. Heard the noise. You guys have a moment here as the light moves away from you.
Do I hear any lizard folk on foot, perhaps?
Give me a perception check.
Ooh, good question.
Just roll them all. Roll all of them.
What the hell?
15.
It's pretty quiet right now. It's very quiet.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep moving quietly to where I can see where it's coming from.
You get out, you move like one house down, two houses down, and it seems like you're getting pretty close to the east wall. Like you can see the wall now coming a little bit out of the fog, not just the shadow of it.
Right.
Very tall wall, you really wouldn't be able to scale it.
Okay.
However, you see where the east gate is, and similar to the way Isadora described it, the gate looks very similar to the south gate. However, whereas it opens like a mouth kind of thing, the top one's all the way open, and the bottom one looks like it's like partially open because it broke it, and like you clearly see that the mechanisms are not fully operable. And it seems like the light is coming from higher than where you and Dodd crawled into. He might actually be stationed on the wall, not in the gatehouse. The lizard with the...
Can I see any, knowing how like Dodd and I climbed up, can I see sort of similar architecture?
Perception check.
13.
13. You don't see any like obvious like where he saw spikes in the walls and showed you how to climb up there. You don't see anything like that. Again, if this gate is mostly open, people might not have bothered to create a way to get up into the gatehouse.
Okay, yeah, can I can't see the creature at the top of the thing yet.
No, the walls are almost 90 feet tall or something. So yeah, it's pretty tall.
And does the fog sort of go over the wall as well?
No,
Is
it looks like it's kind of stuck, like a little like tub basin, kind of holding the fog.
If I got closer to it, would I have? Is it the kind of thing where I would get a better vantage point on it?
If you're on the other side of the wall,
I
but
see.
not from the interior, no. It's full of fog inside of Joiruc. Yes.
Question.
Yeah.
How much can we theorize that this water wheel clears up the fog? Would it be for like 10 feet? Would it be for like 100 feet?
Given that you didn't use the other one, I
idea.
don't think you have any idea.
Orba's gonna lean over to... Are you with us as well now? Because you...
I went
danced
back. Yeah.
I wonder if the water wheel clears up enough fog where we can at least get eyes on him or provide enough distraction. We'd be a little vulnerable, but if we can clear out some of the fog, maybe we can catch sight of him?
Do you want to stay here and Beezaura and I will go back to it? That way if you do see him, you can attack from closer?
Alright. Are you comfortable with this idea? I don't want you to be knocked down.
I don't know what else to do other than get on the horse and
something
literally
to
try
get
to
out of
run
here.
out as fast as we can.
And to do that, you need someone or something weighing down that portion of the gate.
Do what you are comfortable with.
Let's go.
Head back. Stay here, and you know the symbol, the signal. Benji.
He's like, yeah.
This is where I am. And you not know I was here?
Okay, they're heading back towards where the wheel is. Where
Yeah,
the
so
sort of
where
device
can
is.
you just point? It's not to scale,
Yeah.
is it? The road?
No, it's
Gate?
not.
Okay.
And I mean, basically, the east gate is here. I mean, maybe a little
Okay.
bit, but yeah. So,
So if we leave the horses kind of like tied up near, like on the edge of a house,
are you wandering into the street and tying them up?
I'm gonna. Can I watch them all?
You can see them from where you are. I mean, again, they haven't really been disturbed. The light doesn't seem to be
Right.
bothering them, nor does he seem to be targeting them. So they're kind of
oh, they're just
like
Oh,
clopping
they're just like
around
hanging out.
at the moment. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm just gonna
Okay.
keep my eye on them.
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
What are you guys doing as they're heading back?
I'm gonna
Has Safira
try.
made it up to
Yeah, I'm
Mired?
gonna try to make it up to him.
Yeah. As we'll say, as the sort of light poured over to Beezaura, Safira had a chance to
Okay.
hop over,
So-
meet up with her.
Does it seem like the kind of thing where can I see the top of the wall, just not well, or can I not see the top of the wall at all?
If you're at the base of the wall, you might be able to.
Okay, from what I didn't see the guy before.
Tippies.
Is there any way if I would know, like if I was at the base of the wall, whether or not he would be able to aim directly down?
You don't know that for sure. He seemed pretty like it didn't seem like some giant device that he couldn't aim. Like I mean,
Okay.
he seemed pretty dexterous in his ability to
Like a Gatling
direct the
gun.
energy.
All right.
It's not canon rules where he has to be like. Yeah.
What are you thinking?
Well, I can't get a good sight of him. I'm wondering if I can get through the gate, I might be able to see him from the other side. Maybe there's a way to climb in on the other side.
Someone's gonna have to weigh it down, though. I can weigh it
No,
down.
well, I can get over the gate. The horse can't get through. I can run over it myself.
Okay.
I might need some sort of distraction in order to do that. I guess is it still sort of focusing
It's
on
kind of in the road, kind of where it last saw Beezaura. Yes.
Well, I can take a blind shot at it, which will draw its attention to me, and probably not do anything. But
I would say, if he spots me, if it seems to be preoccupied at the moment. If it spots me, start firing.
okay.
So I'm gonna try and
I'm
I want to
gonna
get to is there like a big gap between the last house and the sort of gate?
Not a huge gap, but a gap.
So I'm gonna sort of
20, 25 feet.
get ready, make sure it's sort of focusing.
Yep.
Yeah, it is getting. This is a sexy idea. This is a sexy idea.
I can't.
It's the first time Erland's ever had that effect on people. So I'm gonna ready myself at that last house, and then I'm gonna once it seems like it's sort of preoccupied down the street, I want to try and Oh, actually, yeah, I want to try and make. I'm gonna bolt. I'm not gonna get. I'm gonna bolt straight for the gate.
Okay.
And if I make it over it without getting shot, I want to maybe try and get underneath the thing that's hanging to see if it'll provide me cover. If that
Okay.
makes sense.
So the gate thing. Are you trying to duck under it?
That's what I'm saying. So
yeah.
if I run this way, get over it, just in case if he can shoot over the edge, I'm thinking if I can hide underneath here, that will provide some cover.
I think we're picturing it slightly.
Oh, is it
differently.
inwards, or-
So the gate is like this.
Okay.
And then it opens like this.
Yeah.
So this one is partially like this. You cannot go under it, but you'd be on the ruined side.
On the wrong.
Oh.
If you go through it,
Have cover
this
on
is
it.
just a ramp, basically.
Okay, great. I am going to make a run for it, and I'm going to see if he pays attention to me
Okay,
first.
and also just to clarify, this is all under the gatehouse. If he's up here, presumably as soon as you get into that underhang,
I see.
he can't.
Okay,
see
great.
from there.
In that case, I'm just going to
Give
maybe
me an acrobatics check as you sprint for your life.
And I'm watching I'm very carefully
As you
watching the
sprint
light to
for
see if it
your
swings
life.
over towards him.
21.
21.
There we go.
Immediately, Erland kind of hops up and over, and he's already gotten 3 full strides. And when the light finally realizes where he is, and it starts to turn,
As soon as I see it moving,
go ahead, give me
fire
an
a
attack with
blind shot.
disadvantage.
Ooh.
New day, Safira. New rolling day.
11.
11 misses. And it does for a second. It seems like he maybe saw the arrow coming a little bit because you see it kind of tilt back a little bit as if he was sort of dodging away from it as the arrow's moving up the wall.
Does that-
Buys Erland a second. You get to the gate, and as soon as you press on the lower metal half, you can hear a big creaking noise. You can get up and over it.
Okay, great. So I'm going to take a pause, because this seems, you said, is covered, yeah?
Once if you hop
Yeah,
up
so
over
now
it,
I'm in sort of the
and it kind of groans a little bit.
And do I see the light anywhere?
No, it's
Yeah.
above you, but
But I don't see it down the road or anything like that.
no, you have a view of the road, and it's not in the road.
Okay.
It looks like you saw it shifting, and it might have started aiming towards Safira.
Okay, great. In that case, if I saw it shifting towards her, can I see trees outside? What do I see outside?
You start to see again, similar to the when you guys came in, there's a little bit of fog permeating like up to knee level, maybe a little higher. The trees of the grove, the reddish bark trees, you see quite a few of them.
All right, I'm going to dash for the nearest tree and get myself behind it.
Okay. What are you guys doing? You headed up to the wheel there? Mm-hmm. Okay, you guys get to the wheel. And again, you see like paddle, rod, and it's this like big sort of, almost like a fan sitting on its side kind of thing. It looks like it's operable. There's like 5 rods. It looks like it's meant for multiple people to run this thing around. Graven gets on one side.
Opposite sides.
Zahar gets on
We're not lifting outfits now, so we're ready to go.
The cutest visual.
Give me athletic checks, please.
Our biggest
It's
and our
not going to be cute if
littlest.
they don't do it.
Athletics.
Come on, it's already cute. Please do it, guys.
17.
Oh no, Beezy.
11.
11. And you're sort of stressing under the weight, and you can tell that it's been a while since this thing's been turned. It kind of groans, and the noise is permeating out through the ruin a little. Couple more steps, and it starts to move a little quicker.
Do we hear anything other than the wheel?
Not anything other than the wheel.
Okay.
Can
Yes.
Orba be peeking and watching them, and if a light starts to shine near them, can she just like blindly cast up toward where the origin of the light is?
What is the range on it?
On my spell?
Yeah, on whatever
I would
you're
do
using.
Ray of Frost, I think that's 120.
Okay.
And it doesn't, it would require sight of something. Would it just be disadvantage then?
It would be with disadvantage. You can see about where it is because of the rod of light that's emanating
Right.
from it. So
Okay.
the range on it's 120. So 60 won't make it.
Oh no, Ray of Frost is 60. What's 120? Wait. Oh, chill touches.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
So I'll have that ready
Yeah.
for if the light shows up.
And it starts to, you can hear the alternating kind of groan and the wood turning a little bit. And you can see the fog is swirling, and it has a really sort of, as even in the immediate area, the fog starts to move, and it has this kind of domino effect where it starts to move the other fog, and it kind of,
Oh, sick.
all the fog starts to move out a little bit, raises a little bit.
Can I
It's
kind of
starting to
keep an eye out for if I do see the light on either of us, the closest place that I can run to that looks
Yep.
like cover?
So a couple more rotations, and finally the fog has swirled and it's clearing a little bit, and you see the light pour over them. Go ahead and give me your attack roll.
Can we see is the fog away from even the gate? Or just-
No.
Okay.
It's working its way.
Disadvantage, right?
Yep.
Nice. That's a 22 to hit.
22
Whoa.
hits.
Wow.
Roll for damage.
Chill
She was in
touch.
disadvantage.
Yes.
Relax, it's just 1d8. 3. And they
3
3
necrotic
necrotic
damage.
and they can't heal
Okay.
for a turn.
And just as soon as the light kind of reaches Beezaura, you see it kind of a little bit of like bending and sort of disoriented, knocking away a little bit, and it's trying to sort of contain
Is that the
itself.
movement one as well?
No, it's
No,
the
that is
not
the
healing one.
Okay, so they were doing that at the moment. Erland, get behind a tree.
Okay.
No sign of the light. You're out in the woods.
I can't see the guy on top of the thing now.
No.
Do I see any sort of way of climbing up?
Give me a perception check.
Come on, baby.
Definitely.
That sucks.
was
9.
terrible.
We went off the thing.
Again,
I knew it wasn't gonna be
given
good.
that the
Went off the
gate
rails.
doesn't seem to need extra operation, there's no way to climb up into the gatehouse that you can see from here.
Got rid of our fucking ropes too. The ropes are
You
gone.
can go pry
How
out
close is the nearest
down
tree?
the
Can I
ground.
like conceivably
close.
climb a tree and then
They're
hop
not
onto
tall
the gate?
enough.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, the trees are
And
close,
there's
but
no
not
windows on the.
There's windows
wall.
into the gatehouse, but again, no
The
way to
trees
climb
are
up
not
into
tall enough to get to the window.
No, and it's like a sheet of rock up to it too. So
Can I get can I get closer and take a closer look? Is that something that's
At
possible?
what?
At the to see if there's any like finger holds, if there's any evidence that people haven't climbed up.
okay, give me a perception check. As this is happening, you see it kind of wobble a little bit,
Oh my god.
and it seems like it's trying to find a target again. What did you do after you fired?
Can I
Kind
take
of duck back
target?
behind? Yeah, it kind of ducked back. Looks like it kind of looked over towards where that came from, and then it turns its attention back to Graven. So you guys have turned the wheel quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's moving pretty well, and it doesn't seem like it disperses the fog enough to get all the way to the gate. However, it's done quite a bit. You can already see some of the fog has washed over the horses, and they kind of like You finally look around with clear eyes for the first time, and you can see them kind of moving about the street a little bit.
Does it feel like if I were to stop, it has some of its own kind of...
A little bit, yeah. It would swing a few times around before it came to a stop, yeah.
We should get back behind cover.
Yes.
Let's go.
Give me acrobatics checks as the two of you kind of make for cover.
Nat 20.
19.
There we go.
Raven and Beezaura sort of retracing their steps into a cartwheels.
I do a backflip.
He shoots and you're like...
I don't miss me.
Do a round off.
Yeah, you guys sort of retrace your steps, hop over one of the little low walls, move to the back of the house, and once again, unable to kind of find a shot before you slide back in there.
Well, I don't know if that helped any, but maybe they got something done up there.
It was a nat 20 on the check.
Nat 20.
Let's get out of here.
Nothing on the outside looks like that you can climb in from the outside. However, you take a peek inside the area between the two gates. There is a small door there that looks like it may maybe lead up into the gatehouse. You go over. It seems like it's not going to open unless you, without a good.
Can I see Safira? Can I make eye contact with Safira?
She's around the corner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck it. Just gonna give it a jam with the quarterstaff.
Give me athletics check.
9.
9.
So loud.
It's A, loud, and B, it is giving a little bit each time you hit it. Might take a few hits. Are you going to work on it?
Do I see anyone coming after I make a little bit of noise?
No, not yet.
Gonna keep hitting it.
And you guys start to hear that kind of...
Our turn. Start moving. Like.
Okay, yeah, start to move. And finally, the sort of light kind of pours over, and it seems like it's reaching for a target, and you see it kind of wobble once again, and then it flickers. And you hear a noise. And a lizard folk hits the ground, falling off the wall. And given that you were able to push some of the fog away, you're able to see this clearly. And as it hits the ground, you can see some of the limbs go flying. Some of its teeth kind of pop out and splatter against the nearby house. And it sits there, and you see it kind of twitching a little bit. And right next to it, like right immediately after its fall, you hear a little... And it seems like a little crystal that it had with it shatters along the ground. There's a little piece of metal that kind of ting, 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 goes down the street.
And it's
Quiet
dead.
again.
Well, I just want to make sure.
The most vivid death description I've ever given.
His entrails have exploded forth.
It does indeed look dead.
Twitching. I didn't know let's just go up and just whack him real
Hey,
quick.
Beezaura's a subscriber of the Double Tap. You make sure it's dead.
She's over there flailing the skull.
It's like, come on. Beezaura, kill Karen.
And I run over. I saw him flinch one too many times. Just to be sure, I just wind up and smack him in the head one.
We're all just watching you like, that's gotta be the funniest thing that's ever happened.
He's dead. He's dead.
All right.
So, there's a moment here.
Did anything kind of make it? We're still a ways down. Was there
Yep.
anything that kind of made its way all the way up to us?
What do you mean?
You said a piece of metal, like.
It looked like you guys are still moving down the road / near the houses a little bit.
Yeah.
It looked like, and you saw this before with the sharpshooter when you guys were in the combat earlier, there's like a little piece of metal that was like a J hook that was holding the crystal. That metal piece is like sort of ding 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 kind of jingling down the road.
So not worth.
Have I gotten through this door yet?
You have not.
I'm dead. I'm dead.
It seems like maybe if you worked on it for a while. However, you did hear the kind of splat.
Okay.
And you kind of stop for a second after you hear that. You look out the gate, no light out there.
All right.
Can I step out into the street and look
Yeah,
up?
I'm gonna do the same.
And that, give me perception checks, not with disadvantage because you've blown back the fog a good bit.
13.
13.
Oh.
You guys look up to the wall, and there's a human figure up at the top of the wall. Seems to be kind of looking down, and right as you kind of look up, it looks like he...
I've got my bow.
I'm just gonna go. Who's there?
He doesn't respond. What were you firing?
No,
Okay.
I'm just training my bow on.
Okay.
I'm expecting that it's dawn.
You see Safira kind of.
Can I step to the other side of? So I'm on the outside. Can I look up?
You can. Yep.
Right.
How far?
Give me a perception check.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
How far am I from where that person was standing?
The humanoid on top of the wall.
Yeah.
You're not that far from the wall, maybe 30 feet, but the wall is maybe 90 feet tall, so it's up there a good bit.
Beezaura, we don't know if this is friend or foe. Quiet.
Are our horses okay?
Yeah, the horses seem fine. They were not targeted anyway. A couple of them kind of skittered away when the lizard folk hit the ground, but they're all around.
We should take this as a blessing and move on if we can now.
21. Great.
You don't want to know who it
Don't
is?
want to
No, I don't care who it is.
Fine.
I want out of this.
Get your horses. Let's go.
Erland moves his way out, and you keep stepping back a little bit, one step at a time, until you can see the top of the wall, and you can already see that someone has a bow.
Can I
hanging
get behind a tree?
You can. Give me an acrobatics check.
This dude.
Acrobatics.
Yep.
16.
16. Fires the arrow. You get partial cover for this shot, so you're going to add 3 to your AC. 22.
Oh.
That hits.
Okay.
I only have one hand on my quarterstaff, right?
Yep. 6 piercing damage.
Okay, hold on. Everyone hold on.
Okay.
We're holding for the hold.
6 piercing, you said? I reduce it by 10, which reduces it to 0, so I catch it,
Yep.
and I throw it right back up.
What is the range of a thrown one? I don't know if that has the range.
20 to 60?
It's behind the wall's 90 feet.
Okay, never mind.
Just
That is-
to show me, man.
You catch it, and you look at it in your hand. You open your hand, and it seems like there's something tied to the arrow.
Okay.
Piece of parchment.
Good thing I don't throw.
He throws it, and he's like, no! The papers are like,
It was a secret admirer thing.
look at it. You see that.
Do I look up and see who shot it?
You look up, and someone's jumping off the wall.
I have nothing. Can I Tiefling cast? Can I yell, Tiefling cast Featherfall?
You are very far away. What is the range on
I don't know.
They're on the other side of the gate. 60 feet, yeah. Not even
Orba's
close.
just like, would I be close if he gets near the ground? Like,
Well, you guys aren't even through the gate yet. Erland's on the other side of the gate.
Okay.
He's gone
Got it,
through
got it.
Time. See him coming through. And at first it looks like he's kind of reaching back to a quiver or something, but then his arm goes free, and you see a length of rope coming out from behind him.
Yeah.
And he knocks against the side of the wall. You can see from here. Stop.
I'm gonna take the letter off of the arrow.
Take the parchment off. And you notice a couple of things. It looks like 2 different pieces of parchment. One of which looks very faded and old. It's written in a sort of eloquent calligraphy sort of handwriting. But there's another note on top of it that's been, so the one note is wrapped around that interior note that had sort of the calligraphy and stuff on it. And that looks to be addressed to you. And it reads as such.
So this is inside the old.
This is the one that was wrapped around the other one.
see.
So
Okay,
the,
great.
the one that looks like the writing is newer
Yeah.
is the one you open first.
Okay.
I have seen the power of your allies. I do not have it in me to run. I do not wish to live in fear, more so than I already do. Maybe I could remain outside your reach. Maybe not. What I do know is that I cannot let you take me alive. This, for me, is an outcome worse than death. I will not trade my freedom for your remission. But maybe you can do something with this. When I made plans for my escape, I stole what I believed was some sensitive information from Master Howlett's office, with the idea of using it to bargain
or blackmail if the time came. All encounters with those looking to track me down ended violently. The opportunity to negotiate never arose. Maybe you can do something with it. Or simply return it, if it's their good graces you desire. I am sorry, brother. Say a prayer for me at Block 93. And by the way, you were right. It was nice to talk about it with someone. Dawn. The other note that's inside, I will leave to you. So you heard Erland's cry from the other side of the gate. And the rest of you are getting the horses.
Yeah.
You guys get up to the gate again. It's still sort of tilted up a little bit.
I'll get up on top.
Graven steps up and kind of...
If I hear them coming, I'm just going to put the note away.
Okay, sure.
I'll read it later.
You have a moment to read it as they move through.
Okay,
but
I want to
you-
make sure just as I hear them coming, I put it away.
Sure, this takes a moment for them to do so.
I'll grab whatever horses people
Yeah.
are already attending.
And you can hear the horses kind of clunk, hitting the metal as they move through the gate. You guys get through to the other side.
As we're crossing over, I guess I'll try to find
Yeah.
Erland and...
Erland?
Erland, are you alright?
I'm just going to sort of be like on a knee in front of, like with Dot above me.
And we can see Dot there.
You guys kind of come out, take a look around. You see against the wall there. It's fairly easy to see.
I'm gonna take out my sickle and cut him down. in case
He
I can't
is like
keep
halfway
going.
down. It's like 45 feet up. With climbing up a tree, it's certainly possible.
Would it be possible to fire an arrow that might cut it?
You could try.
Okay. I want to try to fire an arrow.
Leave him.
Safira.
I'm not firing at him.
No.
I'm trying
If
to
he
cut him
falls, he'll dismember the body like the lizard folk.
You don't want to bury him.
I don't know how.
I was just...
Typically you dig a hole in the ground.
No, I mean without. I don't want to damage the body from the fall.
I don't want to leave him hanging there.
All right, fire the arrow.
And I'm
Give me an attack roll.
16 to hit.
Can I cast Featherfall on a dead body?
That's a good question.
5 falling creatures.
We'll call a body a creature for this moment. Yeah.
Alright, Orba's gonna use a spell slot and cast Featherfall.
And immediately the rope disconnects.
As it's slowly falling, can I like?
You catch it.
I'm gonna like walk up and kind of close his eyes. Do you want to find a place for him?
Yeah.
I have a shovel on my horse. It's a hand shovel, but it'll do.
I didn't know him, but we did train at the same monastery.
That's why he was trying to kill you.
Yeah. Years before me, but I spoke with him briefly our first night here. We shared. It's not often you meet people who trained at the same monastery as you.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
As you're holding him there for a second, the bow is kind of not remarkable in any particular way, but you do see tucked into the back of his belt his set of nunchaku are there.
Yeah, I'm gonna take his nunchaku.
You see them.
I have no idea what the stats are. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, I can give it to you. It's a medium item, just so you know.
Okay, I'll have to put some stuff in my.
Graven's like, what do you need me to carry?
When we long rest soon, can I do the math on that? Cool.
Do we wish to maybe bury him under the tree that we're heading to, or a significant spot of any kind?
I think not near the tree, just because we don't know.
Even the forest's edge here, perhaps?
I think the forest's edge is good.
That's the best choice.
Yeah.
Alright.
At the eastern gate.
There's also still like a layer of fog along the ground here. If you buried it here, it wouldn't be super obvious to someone coming through or whatever that was there.
Yeah.
Whether you want to or not. But
I hate to be insensitive in any way, but is there anything else of his we should take along?
I mean, I'm holding him to take a look.
So,
I'm gonna look.
There seem to be some pelopa mushrooms that he'd stuffed into his jacket pocket.
I'll take those.
And again, his traveling cloak is sort of clothing, but other than that.
I'll point at the tree that I was sort of hiding behind.
Sure.
As sort of at the foot of this tree, I think.
Can I look around sort of in the area to see if I can't find like something to like mark the grave?
Sure.
Like
What are you looking
like
for?
I'm looking for like a large stone of some
Give me
kind.
an investigation.
I think my investigation is +3. Am I right? Yes. 14.
Okay. Yeah, it takes a moment just because the fog is sort of running over the ground, but you sort of use your feet to try and sort of step on the surface, and finally you kind of find a rock that it's kind of flat. It's a dark stone.
Yeah.
Sort of pick it up a little
Lift
bit.
it up and
Yeah.
kind of carry
It's
it
heavy,
over.
but it's you can carry it over. And Graven is.
Oh, I'm there digging as well, yeah.
You lay him down.
And I'm gonna kind of like, you know, have the stone sort of next to where we're digging the hole. I think we can mark the grave. That way, someone passes through here wants to write his name on that tree. I don't know.
Would you wish to write your presence as a gift in Elvish?
On the stone?
Whatever.
Yeah. Can I have a dagger?
Will we be able to do this?
Yeah, break it.
Can I sort of etch?
Chisel it or etch it. Yeah. It might dull the dagger a bit, but it's still functional.
Okay, cool. I'll write your presence as a gift in Elvish.
Take a moment to carve it.
I'll sort of put it down on the, if we filled in the hole, put it down. Just sort of keep my hand on the stone for a second. And I'll sort of say in Elfish, rest easy, brother. And I'll dust myself off and let's find a place to rest.
I guess Orba's also she's gonna take her bag off so that none of her possessions are on her, and she's gonna go up to the grave for a second and pray quietly, just in infernal.
Aya, please bring this man peace. I know I might not be in your favor right now, but other people need you. That's it. Put my bag.
Seems like they finish up. Graven hands Orba back her shovel. You guys stand there.
Find a place to rest for the night.
Find a place to rest, yes.
Well, let's head south as far as we are comfortable with.
And stop before we get too close.
Yep. Alright.
Are you heading first east to hit the border, or are you traveling straight south from the gate? Just so I'm clear on your sort of.
I mean, does it look like we'd be going into the woods if we went straight east?
Yes, so the woods are sparser here. So sort of emerging from this almost kind of hot spring-like effect, your eyes kind of adjust from the fog into the clearer forest. And you're finally able to sort of focus on objects in the distance, even if it's something unremarkable like the countless trees that you've passed by before. The fog falls down below your waist, below your knees. Horses pick up their pace a little bit as you kind of lead them forward as you're kind of looking around. It's a much friendlier terrain here. It's a very clearly well-traveled area of the grove. The grass is kind of tamped down. There's dirt little trails leading in all directions, north, south, east. The sun has begun its descent, but you've probably got another hour or so before you need to really think about making camp or have a moment to find a good spot if you wish to. So all directions are pretty much heading into the woods unless you're following along the wall of Joiruc, basically.
Right.
But
Would we like to find the signage marking the border and then head south? That way we have no chance of getting misdirected?
Yeah, I think so.
That's a good idea.
still walking with...
I imagine it's a
Horse.
little... it'd be tough on the horses if it's kind of rooty around here.
It's not so bad. Again, the trees are not... It's not as dense. The trees are much farther apart here, so you can ride pretty comfortably through here, actually.
Okay. Yeah. On the horse.
Yeah.
And someone leading Dodd's horse still.
Yeah, can I kind of be I can be riding my
Yep.
horse in half. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Dodd's horse follows behind you. There's sort of a quiet, melancholy ride for about 45-ish minutes.
and you start to see a number of long wooden poles, iron-banded box at the top with a glass panel on one side. And inside looks to be a piece of parchment with a large colored circle on it. It's green. And the entire contraption, and you see a couple of them, is like roped or banded to the trees so they don't sort of fall over when the storm passes through. And what is a cool and pleasant ride for the most part. You really don't cross paths with anyone during this time. No rushes of wind, no flashes in the sky. An obvious change from Western Isi in its proximity to the Tempests. There's lots of room to roam and keep an eye on each other. Paths that diverge slightly and then kind of reconnect like figure eights through the woods. And given that the map had you originally passing through Des, you imagine the road there might have been similarly smooth, simply the fact that was the sort of marked road. But with no time for regrets, you can only be thankful that the course here is clear. And you start to see, and they seem to be taking the sort of security of the Tempest pretty seriously. There's at least every 100 feet, maybe even less, are these boxes to clearly mark so that if you're traveling, perpendicular, you don't accidentally miss them. So it's hard to miss the border if you...
I'll sort of say loudly to Orba, this is good news. This means that when we try and cross into there will be clearly marked.
Yes. Can Orba try her best to keep number track of how many she passes, just so she knows when we're doubling back when we reach new ground?
Yep. So you've now just gotten up to the border.
Yeah.
You guys make camp here. You're going to turn south a little bit and ride a little more? Where are you?
What time is it roughly?
8.
Make camp here.
Make camp. Find some kind of outcropping or something, or just a shady tree.
Sure. Everyone give me survival checks. It's just kind of scout for a decent spot.
Nat 20.
Oh, thank God, because
14.
I'm not surviving. 12.
16?
Great. You have the group kind of keep an eye out for a decent spot, or what kind of spots a little... It's off of where the kind of dirt trail is, but there's a little kind of circular rocky portion that's, there's nowhere here that's hidden. It's not a cave, but it's all... like someone riding through wouldn't be riding through your campsite, So it's off the road. Find a spot. Hop off the horses. Tie them up. Have a moment here.
Do we have some time to maybe try and find some food if we're
sure.
camping pretty early?
What was your survival check?
Mine was 16.
16. I'll say anyone who got 15 or higher is able to dig up some of those pelipo mushrooms.
Sick.
Bingo, not
Sure.
getting
What
a
did I get?
ration.
You know.
Yes.
Enough to eat for the evening. Some of the pelipo mushrooms.
14.
Otherwise, use a ration for the evening.
Yeah.
Eating their rations like losers. Everyone's snacking on delicious mushrooms.
Yeah.
I have extras.
But down the other end, the ranger couldn't hunt.
No, I don't need the sass.
So you guys start to make a little camp here. The dark comes on very quickly in the forest, simply because you're underneath the canopy of the trees. So as soon as it starts to get dark, it suddenly turns very dark very quickly, even 30 minutes after you guys were sort of reaching the border or whatever.
I guess as Orba's like sitting and gnawing on some mushrooms, she's gonna have like her spell book out on one side, the map on the other, and she's just gonna like go back and forth between them, just mulling stuff over.
Okay.
I'll approach her.
Oh.
Under the... Well, I'll approach her. What are you working on?
Just ensuring that we get out safely and I really hope I am prepared for Navikapura.
I'm worried.
In which regard?
His eyes might not always be on me, but I do not know whether he will know upon entering or exiting.
If it is a soul shelter.
And he may be upset.
Mom's gonna reach into her bag and pull out her flower and just kind of like twist it around in her hand with the stem. It worked once on him.
The priestess is alive.
Lady Sembrilla? She's alive.
I wrote her name in the tree and it closed up.
Well, that's wonderful. We just don't know where. Okay. I have another question for you once we are possibly in this structure.
I'm sure there are many, yes.
But this is a selfless one. Just, I don't know about answering it.
Okay.
Maybe we have you hold this.
We'll see. Have a good rest.
Thank you for telling me. Orba puts her flower away and goes back to work.
Anybody else sort of?
Are we setting up watches?
Yes, I
Yeah, we
suppose.
should.
I can go first.
Alright, thank you. I'll go second.
Okay, I can go third.
Fourth. I'll take last.
Alright.
Anything else anyone wants to do?
Yeah, just as we're sort of all settling in, I guess I'll look at Graven and sort of say, like, I'll look at Graven before addressing the entire group and say, I didn't know that he would do that. I want to make that clear. All I knew was that we had trained at the same monastery. He attacked me at the gate because he had not officially completed his training, and that is frowned upon to leave before you finish your training. And for whatever reason, he revealed that to me, and
I'm assuming frowned upon is a bit of a euphemism.
it seems that there was a rather significant bounty on his head from the monastery.
Right. And he thought you were coming to collect?
It seems that people in the past have come to collect, and he was rather tired of killing former friends. That was not my intention. In fact, the reason I even was hurt in that whole scuffle was because I tried to knock the bomb out of his hand.
So people don't just leave the monastery then?
No, you have to finish your training.
Are you finished?
I'm on field work.
Is that the final step?
It's not
of your training.
It's more circuitous than that. You can, in addition to sort of practical training at the monastery, powerful people, operatives, and the like can hire you out for field work.
Like an extra credit?
More practical training. You need field work in order to complete your training. In addition to, and the only way you can get field work is by being successful in your training to begin with. So they both sort of go hand in hand.
Does this mean you're going back?
That's what I was going to ask.
Eventually, yes. And unless, of course, my field work is deemed sufficient.
Who
By whom?
assesses that?
By the masters at the monastery.
They know what you're doing right now.
Yes.
Well, doing a mission for Jillian's got to count.
Yes.
Pretty good.
Exactly. Jillian was quite generous and has given me some more time sort of in the field. So as we're traveling, powerful families, other operatives, I'm looking for contract work, and if I find something, I might ask for assistance from all of you to help me complete it.
So if we find you another job, we get to keep you?
Potentially. Depends on how big the job is.
Okay, so we'll find you another job then.
I don't... This is new. This was my first job, so I don't... Other than operatives, Jillian told me that other operatives, powerful families, significant law enforcement, all can be people who can
assign these sort of projects?
Yes, I mean it's no secret. I'm free to sort of say that I'm looking for practical training, field work.
Oh, right.
So how long have you been in training then?
In the monastery in total, or
Yeah.
just in practical training? Yes, in the monastery.
Before you got your first job?
I think probably close to 7 years.
How old are you?
5 years. 5 years. 5 years of training.
How old are you?
27? 26.
Spring chicken.
You went there very young.
Yeah, it appealed to me.
I was gonna shoot him a little.
What about
And I'm gonna sort of...
No,
I was good at it.
You are good at it.
So, it seems like your life really is better out here.
Hard to say so far, honestly. But I would like to complete my training.
And then what?
See how long that takes, take it from there.
Is there anything you want to do?
Right now, all I'm focused on is completing my training. Monasteries are very good at focusing you.
Right.
One step at a time. I will complete my training, and then I'll see where I'm at after that.
Sorry, but when you're done training, what will you be a master at?
I don't think it quite works that way. I think you finish your training and your training is done and you can
Live your life.
cease training and live your life. It's not dissimilar from most monasteries.
Oh, I'm sorry about your, dot.
It was nice to speak to someone who knows the place. You don't meet many.
I think I understand that.
It's grueling. A lot of people either fail, don't succeed, give up, run away. And if they graduate, it's a big continent, it's a big world. I have about a little over 20 days.
That's it? Well, we gotta get you in touch with some people in the Vicapora and get you a job.
That's the hope.
20 days to hopefully find a contract. You don't have to have completed it in that amount of time. Yes.
Yeah.
Because I assume if I find another contract,
Yes,
it extends.
they will hire you for a period of time, yes.
Okay. That's another task in the Vicapora then.
Yeah, my hope in Navikapur is, I think we've heard that there are some wealthy families in Navikapur, so hopefully someone with political sway needs some tasks, not unlike finding chess pieces.
Right.
It's really, truly quite similar in terms of talking to powerful people and seeking their favor and basically getting, not a signature of any sort,
So
but...
schmoozing, as you would say.
Well, it sounds like
Yes.
she's more paying off a debt, but yeah.
Yeah, if I don't
Yes,
do it,
perhaps
I
it's not
basically
exactly-
die, Erland, so...
Not, I just sort of, I meant in terms of courting the rich and
Sure.
powerful and the...
Almost the same.
Not entirely dissimilar, no.
Alright.
Sure.
Well, thank you for telling us.
Well, yeah, I mean... Yeah.
I know it doesn't replace somebody who's shared the past with you, but I think we're pretty good listeners. If you ever need to talk about it.
Something you learn in the monastery is...
Not to trust people.
No, actually, quite the opposite. Is not asking too many questions about what people are running from.
Is that advice or a request?
Perhaps both.
Okay.
That's sort of the purpose of training. That's one of the things that appealed to me, in addition to sort of obviously the fighting, the combat, is it's an opportunity to leave everything you were behind before you begin your training. The meditation, the
Before
fighting.
you began your training, you were a boy.
Not quite.
So what were you leaving behind?
What did I just say? You leave it behind.
Sounds quite nice.
That's what I said. It has its benefits. I can recommend you if you'd like later.
Well, if Beezaura doesn't get their chess pieces, she might be.
Erland laughs at that.
I might be a little old to begin my training.
Sometimes the past makes you hate while though now, don't you think?
No.
Well, I guess we'll have to agree to disagree then.
If that's everything, and I'll sort of look at the Goliath. If that's everything, I'll get my rest. I'll take final watch. Is that sufficient? All right. I'll lie down.
Spread the bedrolls, lie down. Beezaura, on her first watch, she takes out the jacket. She starts to kind of, there's a little lever that she showed you that you kind of pull open and it vents the steam, the overheating, overcharge. You let it, and you start to go to refill the tankers. Everybody give me perception checks.
Booby.
Oh, well, Safira knows nothing.
Oh, fuck off.
Erland knows nothing.
Perception?
Sorry, perception. I'm sorry.
Did none of us perceive anything again?
13.
12.
5.
8.
Oh, well.
Perception's one.
Yes, you know, listen.
Yeah, she's the ranger.
I know.
Mine's a +1.
Yeah, but she's a
Yeah, but I'm a brain. This is my job.
She's on the end.
Maybe I could be a ranger.
She looks over at Safira, she's like, I'm better at those things.
Alright, go.
So you guys take a moment to rest and make sure to reset all your things that come back in a long rest. Spells.
Alright, here we go.
Your draft
Orba
jacket
is
comes
sleeping
back.
with her bag at the bottom of her sleeping bag.
Okay.
Or bedroll.
Yeah. They're similar. Exclamation point, homebrew for the draft jacket, which is being recharged after a long rest, as well as possibly changing the wild ordnance.
If you use hit dice, you gain half of them back.
Yes, reading hit dice.
This shit.
Good, bruh.
Did you already, are you doing any breathing exercises? Or did you do
I
that
had
already?
used all my hit die
Already?
already.
Great.
I am, however, rolling for my girdle. Oh, hell
Ooh.
He's fully girdled.
yeah!
Look at that girl.
Fully girdled. I have a pencil somewhere.
I do?
Do you know?
I don't think so.
It's a girdle of love. If you share with your allies, it rewards you.
Yeah,
with
that's true. I
force.
healed. I girdled someone. Someone got girdled.
I have an extra pencil, please.
Someone
I
got
got
you.
it.
I don't know. My least favorite part of this game.
The girdle?
No, it's
Yes.
picking
Yes, that's my least favorite part is your girdle.
My girdle.
You know what? We're pretty close. We're gonna go to a break there. Spellcasters, we're very, very close.
Well, we're not even on break on the thing.
What thing? I don't
Yeah.
know.
You waited longer on that one.
We're gonna go to a quick break
Fine.
as we rest and ready ourselves for our next day of travel in Yakli Grove. The fog drifting away from your ankles, down below your feet,
Shake that one off.
and now able to finally catch a breath, look around, see the world around you. It's quite beautiful in the grove, although it's dark at this point. But when we wake up, we'll see what we have in store. Right on the border of Isimil.
Oh my god.
We're
it's been so long.
officially there.
Oh my god.
If you are new to the stream, about 5 minutes into our break video, there's a recap of last week's episode, so chapter 59. We do those recaps for every episode. They're on YouTube if you want to take a look at more of them, but for the most recent episode, it will always be at the break.
Yeah. So check it out. Get caught up. And we'll see you on the other
Good,
side.
I need 20 minutes to pick out my spells.
Yeah.
See you guys there.
Discuss.
I was nervous. I wanted.
onslaught, the party fights off the lizard folk without their frontliner, Beezaura, who was netted and dragged into a nearby abandoned building.
So Erland, sort of hearing his friend in distress, sprints through the houses, comes around the corner, two-handed quarterstaff attack, pins his head against the wall, and then gives it a squish.
Yeah!
When the dust settles, the party searches for their missing comrade.
They took Beezaura under the earth. There's a hole in this building. I don't know. I didn't have a chance to look down
run
there.
and try to, I want to look.
Erland and Safira find her, lying motionless on a stone slab that sits in the center of a large underground lake. And swimming in that lake is some unknown beast.
Trout poisoning.
Why? For who? Was he gonna take it?
Beezaura, maybe.
Is that who I think it is?
Yes.
We need to get out to her now.
Yes.
I can...
She's probably under the effects of one of these potions.
I understand. We need to get to her now. Can we take this raft?
There's a huge creature in here, and I'm afraid if I go in that water, I might disturb it.
I have a climbing kit back on the horse. If we had two...
I have a climbing kit on me right now.
If I go back and get mine, we can tie them all together and try to... hold one end and go all the way around, and so that we're holding a rope all the way across.
Safira is able to use the rope to covertly guide the raft toward the stone slab.
I am going to put my hand over her mouth.
Okay.
And
Give her a good shake.
and then as soon as she comes up,
And Beezaura kind of sits up.
and I'm going to
rippling
look at
back and
Beezaura
forth.
and say, and point to the water and go,
A less than sneaky raft ride back lands Safira with a severe bite from a surfaced giant crocodile. But the reunited friends manage to escape and find respite long enough for Graven to heal the party.
You want to stay here for an hour?
I don't know about that.
I don't need
If
to
we
stay
get
here
into
for
a
an hour.
combat again,
Well,
I
I know
feel like
that's
we
what
are-
I'm saying is Dodd is still ostensibly fucking here.
okay, then we heal quickly and we try and find the east gate and get out of here.
But the East Road is occupied by two copper claw bears that knock Graven unconscious before his friends have a chance to exterminate them.
She takes her revenge out on anything that's ever come at her. She looks at Graven, she goes, Graven! And she swings it 4 whole times, baby, and just boom! Right in the back of the head.
Are you okay?
Let's get out of here.
Yes.
Bruised and beaten, our friends see signs of intelligent, non-hostile life stationed inside one of the ruins.
Please don't come in.
We
I don't have anything worth taking, I promise. I'm here for research.
desperately need a rest.
Beezaura is able to convince the woman to let her friends inside and rest.
My name is Isidore Morovic.
Beezaura,
I'm a historian of sorts.
what is it that you're researching?
Well, I've been hoping to publish some detailed findings regarding the legend of Falgest. I think I've narrowed down Falgest's former residence to one of the dwellings on this block.
What do you believe to be in the residence?
I don't know. That's what I'm looking to find out.
Graven uses her familiarity with the grove to suss out what his mysterious map could indicate.
There is a large crown's gold tree near the border of Isimil. Not sure if it's what you're looking for. I'm not sure, and she points to the sort of thing underneath. I'm not sure what this is.
We're not either, but we are curious.
The crown's gold trees are very rare in the Ackley Grove, which is why it stood out to me.
And the east gate, where would we get? How would we get to that from here?
Yes, the eastern gate is closest. It's the next right if you continue down the road.
Isadora mentions a former research project of hers that involved a meddling god of death. Our friends express curiosity.
And just as someone who's not familiar, the others?
The other one.
Meddling gods.
Oh, there's a number of them. The most common ones that you find out about are Kasermol, god of death.
Right?
Nirjet, god of nature. Kuuzni, god of light. Bufmir, god of trickery. Gromlegale, god of life. And Heptactor, the god of order.
Oh.
Sort of the most directly meddling gods.
Right.
Are those all part of the same family of gods, belief systems?
No, I believe they're just sort of lumped together because they affect the material world most directly.
Should we rest and maybe talk more after?
Head to the east gate, yes.
Excellent. That is where we will pick up next time.
Will our friends make it out of the ruins? Is Felgast's missing corrupted daggers somewhere along their path? Is 3 consecutive battles enough for one day? Find out next time on Tabletop Notch.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back from the break. Hope you had a nice little reprieve as we did while we organized our spell books.
I'm gonna hate it no matter what.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. It's not even worth doing because you're always gonna hate it. Always regret it.
Couldn't even use feather fall. It hurts.
No regrets. No regrets.
The night passes by, uneventfully. Each person taking their watch. Quiet grove, spot you've picked out here right along the border. The sun rises. The group gets up, rolls up their bedrolls. No activity that you saw throughout the night. No one really passed by. Didn't hear anything coming through, besides the noises of animals starting their day as the sun sort of hear birds skittering above head. You guys wake.
South.
Yes.
Can I take a second and maybe try and forage some mushrooms to eat?
Sure. Everybody can forage again while we're here in
Let's forage.
the survival check.
Oh my god.
I was like, okay.
I find nothing.
I have some
6.
spare, so.
Griffen's preoccupied.
17.
6.
Anyone above 15?
Well, no.
Erland's about to pick up a mushroom and then Beezaura snatches it.
I just go down like,
Got him.
Gosh, the woman who's got the surplus of food.
Dodd did show her how to
That's
pick the
true.
pellet.
I literally have a lot of food with me.
She did have a.
I had extra dried meats. I haven't eaten any
Private
real
class.
rations in like.
You have extra dried meats?
Yeah, she
Yeah.
stole them off that dead guy.
Oh, jeez.
I just steal food from the dead people.
Like, this tastes like that time we killed that one guy. Somehow. Get on your horses.
Oh gosh.
Anybody? Heading south? I didn't know.
Yes.
Oh.
Oh gosh.
And you guys begin to move, and you follow the signs, and once again, as you saw before, signs are very frequent. Unsurprisingly, from what you've heard of the Tempest's frightening power, the Ackley Elves have done a very thorough job, clearly marking the borders between the regions. For now, however, they act for the party as a kind of guide here, kind of leading you south as you search for this Crown's Gold tree, as it's been described to you by Isadora. As you ride, we'll take a little moment to let the siren. You know how much I love doing exposition while there's silence.
Motorcycles and
It seems to happen all
down
the time.
the trail.
It seems to happen every time.
it's a bird call. I did like the lizard folk biker gang.
Yeah, rolling up.
I'm gonna have to find that.
What are you doing in our hood? Half an hour goes by. 45 minutes.
It's a little farther than we thought.
An hour. You're certainly not lost, as the markers, they keep coming. One after the other. Another box. Green marking. It's red-barked tree after red-barked tree after red-barked tree as you continue to ride. And just as you start to wonder, Orba chiefly among them, how far off course you're willing to go for this little side mission, you see something up ahead. That if not for the lack of smoke, would make you think there was a fire in the distance. An explosion of yellows and oranges that fills the gaps between the trees around it. The rustling of leaves even producing a kind of quiet crackling-like effect, rustling in the distance. On your approach, you watch as the outline of this beautiful Crown's Gold tree takes place. A hefty-sized trunk, branches that start growing lower to the ground than most trees, making them easy to climb and hide amongst the foliage. Because of this, in Antisuyu, for the natives among you, another name for the Crown's Gold trees is Lover's Light. A bit of mythos surrounding them as a convenient spot for young sweethearts to meet beyond the watchful eyes of disapproving parents. You get closer to the Crown's Gold. Nothing seems out of the ordinary, beyond its sort of placement in this otherwise homogeneous forest. No oddities in the surroundings. No creatures that seem to be drawn to it. No man-made markings beyond the border signs that you've seen, which have not changed in any way that you can tell. Upon reaching the edge of where its branches extend out, they're set so low that you actually have to duck on horseback to get underneath it. And you realize that it's probably fortunate that these trees don't grow frequently throughout the grove, as it would hinder your travel, as constantly having to duck under them or dismount. So you guys get under, you look around, and again, it's quite beautiful above you, the golds and yellows, spreads out, the light kind of pouring through from the sun above.
Whoa. Well, seems we've made it.
It does.
Do we, trying to ignore the sort of vibrant tree, do I see any, if I sort of look around, do I see any Ackley Elves? Do I see any people keeping guard? Do I see any...
Give me a perception check. People specifically you're kind of looking for?
I would say any, like, creatures, like living, moving creatures. People, threatening beasts.
Yeah, give me a perception check.
11.
11. You definitely do not see any living creatures. You know, sound as being uncooperative. So you don't see any people around, no?
Okay.
And you didn't see really anybody on the way here either.
Can Orba try to tie up her horse to a tree nearby and immediately start ritually casting Detect Magic?
Sure, you may. As Orba's doing so, one of those people kind of dismounted, kind of marveling at the sort of extending branches.
Can I take, like if my horse is settled, can I sort of take a careful look around? I want to look for, I don't know, traps, evidence of creatures, maybe.
Give me an investigation check.
Traps and tracks.
What are other people doing as Erland's sort of looking around?
Dog shit.
So Erland's kind of looking around the tree.
It's not like a clearing of any kind, right? Like, there's trees.
Not really.
right
I mean, the
nearby.
trees are much further apart spaced than previously when you're traveling through EC. However, it isn't a clearing. No, the branches of the Crown's Gold extend out very far in a way that, like, under the branches here, there's a decent bit of opening, but only because the branches extend out so far.
I'll just take a slow walk kind of around, like where the other trees meet.
Okay.
And just
Give me an investigation check as well.
8.
8. Yeah. You don't see any traps that immediately catch your eye or obvious animal markings.
16.
16.
Caustic
Graven
damage.
kind of moving along. Walking along. Are you two doing anything while Graven's roaming around the perimeter? Erland's sort of checking around the base of the tree.
I don't know what to look for.
So you wait for Graven to kind of make his rounds around the sort of perimeter of this. And you notice a couple things. One thing at first as you're walking by, you notice kind of a rock down by your feet that at first you've seen, it doesn't look any particularly different than rocks that you've seen. And you continue around the perimeter. And you see another rock that looks almost identical to the rock you just saw. And you keep walking. And after another little bit, you see another rock that looks almost identical to the first two that you just saw. You walk around the perimeter. Looks like there's 4 of these rocks kind of placed evenly in a circle around, square around the Crown's Gold tree at the... There's kind of some leaves and dirt covering them. They don't look like... You had to, kick some leaves off to see them. They were obscured somewhat by the surroundings.
If I lean down to one, does it seem like I could lift it?
Yeah, it's not that big.
There's nothing underneath it.
You'd have to lift it to see if there was something underneath it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Try to
You
lift
kind
it.
of dust it off. You reach down to pick it up. Right about this time is when Orba is finished
Yes, please.
ritually casting the Detect Magic. And as Graven's reaching down, you see a glow coming from the ground in 4 places around the tree. One of them right underneath the rock where Graven is reaching down.
Graven? Magic. What is that? What are you picking up? What is that?
I'll take my hands off of it and stand up.
Looks like a flat stone.
There are 4.
4.
Do you see magic in all of them?
Yep. What,
Is it the rock itself?
It does not look like the rock itself.
Oh.
Looks like under... What's the,
It's 30 feet.
no, what is it blocked by? It's like it's some
It's a certain
number of
portion of
feet
earth,
of
yeah.
earth. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm specifically looking for earth, I assume. Hold, please. 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of metal, 3 feet of wood or dirt.
Okay, yeah. It looks like underneath the rock, maybe a foot and a half down into the ground, under each of these. You see a glow coming from it.
What school of magic?
The Divination School of Magic.
Okay. Okay, sorry, I may have cut you off before
It's alright.
you were on the right trail. There's magic underneath each rock, about a foot underground. I don't know what spell, but it's of the Divination School.
Well, the map did have it did look like it pointed underground, so that tracks, right?
What would
Not just underground, as deep as possibly below the roots.
What does
which could be
divination
very
mean,
deep.
specifically in this instance?
Divination magic has to do usually with like warding, protection.
Okay.
Can be traps, but it isn't necessarily like traps in an evil, like literally like protective magic, preventing intruder, that kind of thing. Yeah.
I don't know much about this, but would it be helpful if 4 of us each lifted a rock at the same time?
I don't know what will trigger it. It's
mainly spells that involve warding or protection of some kind. So I know that the alarm spell, remember when we set off the alarm, that's not divination, that's abjuration. So it's not something like that. It could still possibly warn people, but my guess is, unless we find any other things here that could lead us into a better idea of what we're dealing with, you might be right.
Do you want to, well, you can still see magical things. Do you want to sort of walk around a little bit more, perhaps?
Yeah, I mean, I'll cover as much of that area as I can
Give me
with
an
the 30
investigation
feet.
check.
Come on. 7.
7. You don't see anything in addition to those? At a sort of, you're walking around the perimeter, kind of where Graven was sort of tracing. Yeah, you don't see anything in addition to those.
Okay.
There are 4. I wonder if perhaps I shouldn't touch them, and maybe if the 4 of you could trigger something.
Okay. Do we want to all be on one stone and move them at the same time, or should we just try moving one?
Don't we each move one, maybe?
Maybe we try to move one first, see if anything happens, and then we all move the rest?
Well, I think her thinking is if you don't move them all at once.
Yes.
Right, maybe. Okay.
Also, it could be that the rocks are just covering up what is underneath. They're not going to trigger something, so hopefully we'll be able to take off the rocks and see what's underneath.
Okay.
Alright, so Erland will position himself.
Yeah,
down
I'm
on the
gonna do
rocks.
one.
Okay.
Orba is going to take out one of the pestifer canisters that she bought from Yannick and give it to Graven, just in case.
Alright.
I don't know what this is.
You don't know what this is?
No, I don't know what this is. What's this?
Why are you giving this random thing to me?
Have some junk!
Yeah.
Just hold on to this for
It's a canister.
security blanket.
I remember.
Okay. I'll go to a rock.
Where are you standing as they're doing this?
Oh.
By the base of the tree.
Gonna
I
fall
know.
down into the
By
earth.
the base of the tree.
Okay, give me a perception check as you're standing by this tree.
16.
16.
go.
Graven sort of watching everyone take their positions, sort of gets himself so he's a decent distance at the sort of center point from each of the stones as they sort of mark the perimeter. And right as your back is kind of up against the trunk of the tree, your eyes wander just a little bit, and at one of the lowest hanging branches, you notice that there's something carved into the tree. A very small symbol that's like maybe this big, and so the branch is sticking out. It's just right next to the tree, a symbol. And it looks a little familiar, possibly from the Genie Temple, from Blom's house to Mukmu. It looks like a primordial symbol, like the primordial numbers or alphabet.
Safira.
Yeah? Do you want me to...
They're all like squatting in the box.
I think some of that language that the genies spoke is on the tree here.
Okay, yeah. And
don't
I'm
we
gonna
why
kind of
don't we
walk up to
swap?
him, and then try to desperately find this
I'm gonna
sheet
open
that
up my
I've been-
memory.
Is everyone not touching the rock?
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
hold. Holding on the rock.
Let me see if I don't know if I still have primordial translation, I'm sorry.
Where did it go?
It just so
Here, I
happens.
just don't know where it is.
Yeah.
There's an extra box.
It's almost as if you knew!
Oh my gosh, well.
Something like this could happen!
Is this the big thing?
And what does it look like?
You walk up to the thing. It looks like the number 1 in primordial. The little circle with the dot.
Yes!
Oh,
I wasn't even there. But I
you mean
remember that.
nipple?
Yes. I called it the boob.
That-
Sorry. I was like, is this the boob thing that I wasn't there for?
Well, it's a nipple, it's that.
What?
Yeah, it's the primordial number for 1. I don't know what it means. I know it means 1, but besides that.
Do we see any more
I was
on
going to
the
say,
tree?
now that if we look up, do we see more primordial?
Give me some perception checks.
All of us? Or just...
The people standing under the tree, Erland and Graven.
I'm just
And
standing by
Safira,
my
you
rock.
can too.
17.
17.
8.
14?
14. You guys look up a little bit further, and it's hard to see from down
my
here,
God,
but another
two?
couple branches up, there's another symbol. Looks like the number 2.
Should I climb?
I think so.
Did you see anything?
I'm gonna kind of like try to pull
She just looks up
myself
and
up.
Should I climb? I don't know.
Are there more symbols? I saw what I said.
Yes,
so
you saw it.
there are more primordial the higher you go. Maybe Are they within? Is the 1 and 2 within like jumping distance from each other or climbing distance?
Certainly, the branches are very frequent of this tree. You can easily climb the crown.
Right, but is it like, could you go from 1 to 2 without touching any branches? Or are they far?
No, there's branches between them. So they're certainly within reaching distance. You don't have to like leap or climb multiple. Like if you're standing on a branch that has 1 next to it, 2 is like just up here above where your head
Okay,
is.
so maybe try and move only from branch to branch.
Yeah, okay. So I kind of pull myself up onto 1, and then I'm gonna try to C2 and
Pull yourself up onto 2. 3. You can see the sort of leaves of the tree shaking a little bit as Safira continues to climb. 4. 5. Step across a branch. 6. All the way up to it. And you continue to climb. And you get to, you're standing on branch number 6, or that's marked with the number 6. And instead of just one single number, you see a string of both numbers and common letters as well. It's a mixture of primordial numbers and letters in common, as well as something written in common.
Okay.
Carved into the tree. Let me clear this.
Why wasn't there just a basement door?
Right.
It's like I was hoping for someone to just say, "Oh, hello!"
Yeah.
Right this
I would
way.
like to enter.
I would like to.
The Grimari one.
SS?
The Grimari one.
The Grimari.
It says, "Make sense of Bufmir's words.
Okay.
A blank god is a blank god,
Stop.
and blank is derived from blank. My cleric is the blank to blank, the blank to the blank." That's what the message says, and each one is numbered.
Okay. So Safira's gonna take a second
I'll do it so you can see it.
to like memorize this as best as she can.
Sure, it's pretty easy.
And then kind of climb back down quickly, just trying to use the branches again.
You do something.
And then I'm gonna try to
You might
pull
be able to see
paper.
it there. I don't know.
out
I
of
can
my
make it big
bag.
for a moment. Yeah, you climb all the way down. Yep.
And then I want to try to write it down.
Sure. We'll say that you're able to.
Okay. It's some kind of a cipher, and we have to decode it.
Did you see any other? What are the 1s and 2s? Did you see any other numbers and stuff up there? So wait, which part of this is written in primordial? The 1 is like primordial, or
This was all written in common, and the letters are in common. And sorry, before you go down, there was something I didn't know if you wanted to write it down first. So you relay this information,
I want to write it down.
and then theoretically, if you go back up or relay also, you do see carved in primordial this
Okay, I do want to climb back up.
Yep.
And get all the info. Yes.
PLW with symbols next to them. And I will put this.
Oh my god.
What?
You know what those mean?
I do, and I can translate. So that, the first one there, says 1. The second one is 3, that second number, which is called Hev. I'm not sure if that matters at all. And the last number there on the top row is 0.
So she's saying that's 130.
And can you put those 3 words together, just so I can hear them together? The actual...
right, yes. It would be that Hev Ghoul.
Vat Hev Goo.
Goo?
Ghoul. G-U-L.
Okay.
G-U-L.
Yeah,
G-U-L.
and the second line, the L line, that says 1 again, right? And oim, which is 4. So it's that oim.
I'm not writing this down.
It's okay, I got it.
Okay.
So far it's 130.
Yeah.
And then this one is 14.
And then 0.
And then it's 0 again, and that's proc, which is 5. And it's P-R-A-C-H, proc.
All right.
Is that PLW?
PLW.
And Isadora said that Bufmir was the god of trickery, so this is some kind of a riddle, obviously. And I'm not sure if it's a good intentioned one. Like if we finish it, we get what we want out of it, you know? Because it's tricky. Well, what are your insights on it, Miss? I speak this crazy language.
I don't know. I mean,
She doesn't speak it either. She knows the numbers from her training.
right.
Yeah, she doesn't speak it.
What's the symbol above the numbers?
That's just a 1.
Above
A common one above
that.
that.
Yes, that looks the exact same as that. That's written in common. There's a common one there and a common one there. There's blanks with one written on it. Yeah.
Oh, are those space?
Yes, blank, 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 blank.
And
the blanks
I was
are
saying like.
Are these?
That's what I was thinking.
Are they like? Is it like 4 spaces or is it just a straight?
It is
line?
not 4 spaces. Sorry,
It's a
It is
straight
I was like,
line.
is this like?
It's a
Fortune
blank
Punch?
with a number.
I see.
written above
Great,
it,
great, great.
yes.
Okay.
I think we're gonna need to know what's underneath those rocks as well.
We might.
All right.
Why?
Or that might start some kind of a timer with our luck.
A 130 14 5 god?
Graven, you wouldn't happen to know who the cleric to Boofmir is?
You've heard of Wolfmir? He has multiple. Not all gods are like Uzni, who only have one cleric at a time.
Excuse me.
Spoiler alert.
Do you tell me all
I'm
of
saying
that?
you know that.
No,
I also
you,
know.
Yes, Wolfmir is known to have multiple clerics.
He does not only have one cleric, Boofmir.
You don't know.
Well,
You don't get together at some kind of a cleric convention, or okay.
No. Orba.
Rosentaya. I get away each year.
Well,
clerics.
They're like, the Boofmirs have arrived.
Who wants to share a cabin with the Boofmirs?
All the Boofmirs get hammered at the Olive Garden.
We're doing a one-off, all as the Boofmir.
Vacation with the Boofmirs.
They always do that thing to your beer when they do their talk.
Classic
Your ale,
Wolfmir move.
they clink the ale and it bubbles over. No.
Oh, Boofmir.
well,
I do think we are missing a key to
There's
this.
nothing. There was nothing else up there.
no.
We can say she went back up, thoroughly looked around.
That was it.
If we look at the rocks, do they have anything carved in them?
No. Rocks.
I mean, theoretically,
This is still relatively within the space of 10 minutes, and they're still glowing underneath those rocks.
Okay.
is it giving us a hint? The letter P in the spot 1, so a word that starts with the letter P?
No, but that's the whole thing is one. PLW is all one.
No, what I'm saying is in that row, the first number is 1,
One.
right? So perhaps that corresponds in some way? Does anyone understand what I'm saying? No? Okay.
Graven with his 8 intelligence is
Right, P1.
I have
We can try to lift the stone.
the
if we want
sentence with the blanks. I have heard something like it before.
to. Okay.
I don't remember it exactly, but
We can assume that the first spot at least would probably
Just-
describe.
just- hold on.
Sorry.
a water wheel and a mill. Does that mean anything to anybody?
No.
Something about the cleric being the water, or the god being the water, and mill is...
Oh, like an analogy of sorts?
Yes, I can't recall it exactly.
Well, maybe if we keep going, it'll shake your memory. I would like to lift the rocks before my detect magic
All right.
Okay.
is done.
All at the same time?
Yep, sure. Yeah, why not? Be
Graven,
ready
are you
for
not lifting one? No.
something.
Okay.
Now that we know this is Boofmir.
1,
Everyone kind of looks around.
2,
3.
And you lift it. It has a little bit of weight to it. Nothing.
There's no.
Continues to glow. There's nothing
The ground
underneath the rock.
underneath is glowing.
Well, to Orba.
Oh, right.
And there's no like hole. There's nothing. There's. Okay.
Perhaps we should replace these just so we understand where these points are. We don't forget.
Yes.
Okay, I'll
Put it down. Confirm with Orba that it's in the right spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll check.
Sure.
Yeah,
Still a glowing underneath the earth, like, maybe a foot underground.
Okay, so
believe
then...
that digging up whatever is glowing is the option here?
No, I think we solved the puzzle. I think the puzzle tells us something might happen when we do.
Right, but what I'm saying is I think we're missing a key to the puzzle. I don't see how to proceed.
Did it look like there was anything that had been scratched out or anything missing? That this was all there was?
Why are the branches numbered?
Well, look, these are numbers that have both letters and a number corresponding to them, so let's write out the letters, see if we can't...
That's what I just did. The first thing is Vathef Ghoul.
No, but I'm sure it's some kind of... I don't think it would have made it that easy.
Alright, there's no 0-numbered branch, correct? So it's not even as though we could go from branch 1 to 3 to 0.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you only climbed up 6 branches, correct?
I did. Yeah.
No 7s or 8s.
No.
The branches were also labeled in primordial, not in common numbers.
Right.
1301405.
Is it some kind of... Can we unscramble the letters in any way?
Oh, you think it's some kind of a, what's the word I'm blanking on?
Anagram.
Anagram?
Could be, yeah. Why
Oh,
not?
goodness. Well, let's take one of the shorter ones.
Spell it
Oim.
again. It's V-A-T-H.
Oim is O-I-M? Yeah, okay.
Is it Vath?
Oh gosh.
V-A-T-H-E-V-G-U-L?
Yes.
We're just gonna do possibly not anagrams.
In the interest of you not sitting here and trying to do anagrams, that's not what it is. Let's say they take a moment and try to unscramble the letters.
Soul is
Because all of us
We'll
are
say that
like-
some time passes as you guys sit there and try to
Yeah.
maybe piece it together, but you look around and no one seems to have successfully.
If we weren't streaming this for other people, you would have let us sit there for like 2
doing anagrams.
Yes.
I don't think it's anagrams.
Okay.
It's impossible. I know no word that contains all those letters.
It's impossible, you're right.
Okay, well then, I suppose we can start digging if we want to.
What if...
Should I start digging under this rock, Tiefling?
I'm not sure. I'm worried that since this is Boofmere and he's a prankster god, if we start digging before we solve this, then, I don't know, something comes out and slaps us. I don't know exactly what that would look like, but...
I'll walk back up there if you need me to.
What if we assume that it's a type of god, a meddling god or a trickster? What kind of god is Boofmere?
He's god of trickery, which is
The
why
trickery
I
domain.
don't know if guessing blindly. I think it's going to be a trick of, words. It's not going to be a direct, literal,
That's
praise
true.
the god as a happy god. It's not going to be
Yeah.
something so literal. I'm just going to start digging under this rock.
Yeah, I'll pick up the rock and start digging.
I'll start
I'll get my hand shovel.
Everyone sort of
Safira's just
You don't
staring
know.
at the puzzle
Go back. start to dig a little bit, just using hands at first. And you get maybe 8 inches down and then... And buried, about 8 inches down into the dirt, is a little iron box.
Everyone?
Everyone, there's 4 of them, not
Yeah.
if everyone gets.
I've been racking my brain for the...
Sure. There is a box.
Bingo!
Yeah, maybe
Do you
well.
lift it up, or is it?
Yep, you can. There's a little bit of weight to it because it's
seeing
an
them
iron
find
box.
something, I'm gonna
Yeah,
dig up
dig.
and find my...
Okay.
Locked.
So I'm assuming this
They're not
might
locked.
be a key of some kind?
I'm opening mine.
All at the same time?
All at the same time?
No, I was just going to ask if Graven wanted to detect traps so that nothing befell you
Oh.
when you open.
That's a good idea.
Only if you want to, you don't have to.
Are you still seeing magic here?
Has it worn out?
Yeah.
It's
This I
We
assume
we
is-
tried to solve anagrams for a long
Yeah.
time.
yeah.
You don't know a lot.
it was a magical place in the ground. I imagine that the bars are magic in them.
Can you would your detecting traps detect magical traps?
Not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
Well,
I
then
misunderstood.
I suppose we just all take the leap at the same time then. Or suppose maybe I open it first if
I
something
can
terrible
go
befalls
first.
me.
Yes.
Let's. Yeah, she said
Okay.
that she would like
It's
to do
fine.
it.
I
What's a curse?
I'm gonna just listen.
In the middle of
don't hear
nowhere.
anything,
You don't hear anything.
and I'm just gonna open it.
And it opens with a little creak. It's a little kind of chest. And inside is a dusty,
unlabeled tome.
What the hell?
Oh my goody god.
Page numbers.
Oh my god, there are full books?
Oh my god.
There's books in here? And Orba's gonna open hers.
Is this sticker?
Oh my god.
Sorry if that was loud.
You wrote a full book?
So inside the book
It's like,
are people opening them.
Oh,
Yes.
No.
yep.
Yes.
Orba opened hers.
You
I
reach,
did too.
give me an athletics check. You reach, and as you start to pry, you can feel it resisting.
Yeah,
the book.
I'm
I'm
Give me athletics.
Athletics?
Checks for everyone. Yep.
8. Please, BZ.
22. 21, sorry.
8.
8. Are you trying to pry yours open or no?
No, not yet.
Okay. And there's like a pulse of energy that goes out as soon as the book opens. Kind of an energy that starts in the middle of the tree and goes out, and some of the leaves and things begin to rustle.
this is gonna be time.
Yeah.
You look inside the book,
Shit.
and it's a gibberish tome. There's words, tons of words inside, but incomprehensible. The, it, he, boat, bridge, water, it, like strings of words that make no sense. And you look inside the tome, flip through the pages, all the pages seem like that, just full of words.
Beezaura?
It's just full of words that don't.
Having seen BZ,
Yeah.
do that,
I'm
and
gonna try
pull
to
it
do
open.
it again too.
Another pulse of energy goes out.
Can I try
Yeah,
again?
we'll say it takes a second for you, but you're able to get it open.
So small.
It's nothing.
Knocking it on the ground.
Same thing.
It's nothing in
just
all
full
of the
sentences.
books.
It's just
It's written in common,
a bunch
but
of.
words, just words.
going to
and
page
words.
130.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
everything on one? Oh.
I'm going to page
Going to
5.
page 130.
Go to page 5. Go to whatever page you're looking for.
What?
It's gonna be all synced up. This is Matt we're talking about, you guys.
Okay, I'm on page 130.
I'm on 5.
Yeah, I'm
Oh, line 14. 2, 3, 4, 5.
Page 130.
Page line 114, word 5. Okay.
Okay, I get it now.
Word 5.
30.
The.
The god? The god?
Orba
Wait.
says her word out loud.
Hang on, I'm confused. What? Did someone explain this to me again?
You're going to page 130,
Yeah.
like the numbers. Then you're going to line 14.
Okay.
Needed.
14. Okay.
And then word 5.
Said.
Mim?
Mim? M-I-M?
M-I-M. It's a name.
So
And as soon as the first 4 words are spoken out loud, you hear a little, and you look up into the tree, and it looks like the symbols have changed up there.
Oh no, guys!
What were
Safira,
they?
hand me your book and go
Yeah.
up the tree.
Okay, so I'm gonna hand him my book and start
What,
climbing
what,
up
what
the
did we
tree.
say? The god. What did we say? The.
The Mim.
Keep track of your words.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Needed.
so Mim.
The Mim needed, and what was yours?
Said.
What?
Said.
The Mim needed said?
Okay,
Safira climbs up, and you see that the symbols have changed.
Okay.
He's
Sorry, I
gonna
just wanted
need
to
your book.
double
That's
check.
he's gonna need your book. He's going to need your book.
Oh,
Yes.
I that didn't occur to me that in real life you would actually.
I hand him
That's
the book.
what I was like.
He's got it.
Sorry,
He's got
that's what was happening in my brain.
And I don't think we need to concern ourselves anymore with the literal pronunciation. Just tell us what the numbers
Right.
are.
Okay, that's 0 is the first one. The next one's 5 and
Right.
5 again.
Okay.
So page 55.
The second line is a 1,
Right.
and that is a 7.
17.
And the third line is 0, 1.
01.
Holly.
By.
Happy.
What was yours?
Holly.
By.
Holly.
B-Y, B-U-Y.
B-Y.
B-Y.
Get.
Get.
And what was yours, Graven?
Happy.
Okay.
Holly. B-Y, by. get.
Okay. Hit us again, Safira.
Okay, it's 1, 6, and 4.
6, 4.
4.
Yeah. Is the first line. The second line is 1, 6. So 16, and then the third line is 0, 2.
Beside.
Pleasure.
16 and then 2, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Toward.
Kelp? K-E-L-P? Can you guys say yours one more time, please?
Please.
It's beside, pleasure,
Toward.
toward, and kelp.
Kelp.
Beside pleasure, toward kelp.
Okay, first line is 1, 2, 4. 124 is the first line. Second line is 0, 7. And the third line is 0, 6. So
Page 124, line 7, word 6.
I don't have a word.
I have nothing.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
It's okay. If it's blank, it's a page has nothing on.
Purpose? Let me check again. 124.
Wait, line, word 6?
Word 6 of line 7. Yes, purpose for me.
Do. D-O.
Purpose do.
And then nothing for either of you.
Nothing.
Okay. Awesome, this is
okay,
great. I love this.
page 2, 1, 6. So okay, line
I'm writing in here.
Yeah, if it's pencil, that's
1, 3.
Sorry,
Line 13?
Yeah,
Okay.
and word 0, 5.
Bit.
B-E.
Line 13, sorry.
Yes. Yes.
On?
And which word?
5.
On bit.
B-E.
It's page
216.
216 word
Line 13.
line 13. Yeah, sorry, and word
6.
5.
5. Word 5.
Word 5.
5. Bridge.
On bit bridge B.
On. Bit. And B.
B-B-E.
Great.
Oh goodness, we're going to have to pick which word best fits into which gap. Alright.
Yes. Okay. Page 2, 4, 0, 240. Line 2, 4, 24, and word.
Sorry, slow down.
Sorry.
Page 240.
Yep. Page 240.
Yes.
Line 24. And word 4.
4.
Bind.
24. Word 4.
Yes.
240. 24.
Time.
Breath.
24. 4. His.
Is I-I-S?
His.
H-I-S. What was yours? Beezaura?
H-I-S.
Bind.
Bind.
Breath bind his.
Time.
Time.
Okay. Page 2. Page 29. Line 2. Line 2. And word 1.
And.
With.
How are you this fast at this, Beezaura?
Heavens.
I love puzzles.
Hold on.
Again, it's page 29, line
2.
2, yeah, and word 1.
I have a hyphenated word.
do that word.
The full word.
Yep.
Okay. Sensation. What did you all have?
Heavens.
And
With.
And with.
Okay, the page is 44, the line is 21, And the word is 6.
Nothing.
44.
Sorry, which line?
Sorry, it's 44 and the line is 21.
Word 6.
Am I right about that? Yeah, that's right. It's 21. It's line 21. Sorry. And word is 6.
Nothing.
Just to make sure, Matt, when I have something like this, the lines are the lines.
That bold one counts as a line.
Okay.
Yep.
And no spaces are a line.
No, a space is not a line. Just
me
lines
just
of
double check.
text.
And hyphenated words are one.
Pick the hyphenated word, yes, and the whole word.
Painful.
Love this music, Matt.
Surface. Surface painful.
Nothing.
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 Oh, okay, sorry.
All right.
Okay,
Are you attempting to close the book?
That was the last one, yes? There's no.
Oh my god, you just made him.
Yes. No.
Oh
Tell
my god!
everyone.
What?
Tell me if this makes sense. A needed god is a happy god. And pleasure is derived from purpose. My cleric is the bridge to time. The sensation to the painful.
The heavens to the surface.
The heavens to the surface.
The heavens to the surface.
Say the whole thing. Say the whole thing.
Go ahead, Greg.
A needed god is a happy god. And pleasure is derived from purpose. My cleric is the bridge to time. The heavens to the surface.
Time doesn't make sense, does
The
it?
bridge.
Bridge to time?
Breath, or was it bind?
Bind.
Is the bridge to bind the heavens to the surface.
The bridge to bind the heavens to the surface.
Say the whole thing. Or do you want one of us to?
I'll do it. A needed god is a happy god. Pleasure is derived from purpose. My cleric is the bridge
To bind.
to bind the heavens to the surface.
And you feel a pulse come out from the book, and for a moment there's kind of a breathless feeling as it seems that the tree siphons some energy from you.
From all of us.
It's based on how much time we took.
Don't you say that. How many times we got wrong?
We all fall unconscious.
You all
Yeah.
take 12 necrotic damage.
Shit.
Holy god.
As soon as the words are said, the books close shut. And there's a swirl of energy. And it seems as almost as if the life that has been siphoned from you circles the tree and then and a portion of the trunk opens ever so slightly, revealing an opening into the tree.
Does anyone want to look?
I think we should step inside, yeah.
Is everybody alright?
I mean, yeah, gosh.
I mean, I'm alright. I'm not great. Let's go.
Rowan's gonna put his hand on Orba's
Oh,
shoulder. No?
yeah, she'll tap you off. She's okay. Thank you, though.
I don't really have much connection to gods. Do you want me to go first?
Probably safest.
Okay.
Can Orba, depending on how long this will take, start ritually casting Detect Magic once again?
How long? What will take?
her like going down. I don't know how long this is gonna be, so she's just gonna start casting.
Okay.
And see if she's interrupted.
Okay.
I'll be at the tree next to Beezy.
Who is going? What's
I'll like kind of poke my head in with Beezy.
The opening is big enough to step through. However, the horses definitely will not fit through. If you all go through, the horses are up here.
We should tie up the horses somewhere.
Well, before I go,
What
Is
if
there
no
anyone
connection
who-
to the gods means that you wait outside?
that's what I was going to say. I have nothing to really gain.
Okay.
I'll stay with the horses.
Goliath, you in first? Tiefling and Safira right after.
Yeah, Orba will drop casting, I guess, since that happened really fast. Do you need anything?
I don't know.
Okay, tell me if you do.
Going first. Take the edge of the trunk and it opens almost like a door. Because it's not on an actual hinge, it takes a little bit of effort, and you can hear the wood kind of almost as if you're peeling back the bark. You look inside. It's dark. There's a wooden ladder leading down into the ground through the trunk.
Use light on my mace. Kind of hold it over. Can I see how deep it is?
At least 15, 20 feet, maybe further. It's hard to see.
You turn back. It's a little bit of a climb down.
Okay.
Are people following? Are you waiting for Graven?
I'm gonna be right behind Graven.
Graven.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow
Graven,
Orba.
Orba,
And
Safira.
then I'll go in.
You start to move down.
I'll get Beezy.
Have fun.
The ladder is wooden, but it's cool to the touch. And the further you descend, the colder it gets, until it actually even starts to sting a little bit. You grit your teeth and rub your hands between each rung. And you continue to descend. The bit of light that's coming into the tree from above and the bit of light cast from your glowing mace is quickly waning as you get 20 feet down, 30 feet down. The narrowness of the chute is making it almost impossible to kind of see past your own body to see what may lie beneath. Finally, you take another step, and your feet touch on what feels like stone. The tapping of your boot hitting the bottom kind of echoes out behind you. And even without turning, you know that the space has opened up. The walls are smooth, and there are some kind of carvings or grooves in them, like etchings of patterns and symbols that you don't recognize, not sure if they're decorative or symbolic. Turn from the ladder, and you look behind you. You see a very short hallway, just a couple of feet long, and then an open room that seems to swallow the light as it leaks in. So Graven has just touched down at the bottom. Orba, you're kind of right at the ladder, just above him, with everyone else.
I'm just gonna get down on the ground and just check in with Graven really quick.
Do I feel anything other than the sensation of the cold still, maybe?
No.
Nothing yet.
You okay?
Beezaura's dying.
They get all the way down, they're like, oh, Beezaura.
Alright. I tried to have a mushroom and it just...
You still have this up on there. I don't know if you wanted to take it out. Take a few steps towards the open area.
Step forward toward the room. And there's a very subtle but almost alleviating feeling that washes over you. Not the addition of a positive sensation, but the removal of a negative one. Almost like extracting a thorn from a layer of skin. The fading of a ringing in your ears, or waking up that second morning after a full day hangover. The floor has an ever so slight give to it, despite being solid stone. And it could be a trick of the mind, but it looks like the whole room tilts just a little bit as you step into it, almost as if the whole thing were suspended in some kind of impossibly thick fluid. It's impossible to discern the room's true size, even with your mace glowing as you walk in.
My mace is still glowing?
Yes,
Okay.
even as you move about. It doesn't reveal the walls. Any bit of illumination petering out. You check over your shoulder. Orba's behind you. Then Safira. Then Erland. But the distance between you and the ladder seems further than the amount of steps that you've taken thus far. The distance almost kind of warping in your mind. For a moment, there's nothing. And it's both terrifying and exhilarating. You inhale deeply. And when you exhale, as if your breath were conjuring them forth, you start to see figures in the room with you. A few paces ahead. They're Goliaths. All of them. Sitting, leaning, huddled, quiet and still with one common thread between them. Their wrists and ankles are bound by gleaming chains, ethereal bindings that pulse with a white-hot radiance. And you guys watch as Graven runs his eyes across and Orba kind of peeks over. Can't tell what he's looking at. You have no idea who they are to you. But all of a sudden, a torrent of names flows into your mind as if a dam had been unleashed. Mixtel, Arivik, Skoze, Kalyana, Tazgud, Soraya. And at the end of the line, in what looks like an uncomfortable, partially hanging position, with her hands held up over her head, a name comes to you. Ayanda Sengrila Ilvigo.
Drop my shield and my mace.
Graven?
Graven.
And walk towards her.
I think Orba's gonna give him space, but like.
Is this a
behind him.
distinctive new room that we're all sort of in now?
You were in. There was like a little tube going down, a tiny hallway, and then a big open.
But now we're in
yes,
the open.
you are now.
There's
in
no
the,
other place to go in this
Not that you
area?
can see. Like
Okay.
you said, when you look into the darkness,
Yeah.
you can't see where the walls are. It
Okay.
seems to extend into infinity.
Yeah, can you give him space?
Ayana. Can I get close to her?
How close?
Close enough to touch.
You are within touch. Take another step. And she sort of
Can I reach out and try to touch her face?
reach out. Your fingers pass through. She doesn't react at all.
I'm gonna turn around. Do you see them?
See who, Graven? Who do
My
you see?
tribe.
What do you see?
I'm gonna like look around, but
You see nothing.
What do you see, Goliath?
My tribe.
Graven, you see your family.
My family.
okay.
What are they doing?
Are the other ones just standing around?
They're bound, but
They're all bound.
yes, that's what all between all of them. Yes, there's this blinding chains. Some bound both feet and arms, some just arms. Not all bound at the exact same.
Standing, sitting,
Some of both. Yep. Some look like they're kind of leaning against the wall, bound. Some sitting on the floor, sort of hands in their lap, bound. Yep. Different positions. And the ones that are leaning, they're you're not seeing a space that they're in. He seems to be like leaning on air, still bound, but you can only see the people, not the space that they're occupying.
Graven, can you take a deep breath and tell me who you are seeing? Do you know their names?
I don't know. Names are coming, but
I think one of them is Shangri-La.
Okay.
What is she doing?
She's bound. They all are.
It's...
Does this seem like a memory or an illusion?
Ayana!
You say it a little louder.
Yeah. Just try to reach out again. Touch.
Hands pass through. But at the shouting of the name, you hear another noise. Something approaching. Sort of a wooden sound followed by 2 shuffling footsteps.
Looking to where is it coming from?
Yeah.
Can I see where it's coming from?
Give me a perception check.
Do we all hear this sound at all?
You do?
Oh, okay. I will look and try to find where it's coming from.
Oh no!
She's fine.
Can you roll with advantage if we're helping?
Perception?
Yeah.
17.
A man steps forward from the shadow. You're not sure how far away he was or what part of the room he was in. Like I said, it sort of extends infinitely. He's dwarven, with a tangled mass of overgrown hair that obscures most of his wrinkled features on his face. Hair that grows... Dwarves grow out their hair long often, but it's sort of tamped and messy. It looks dirty and sort of grungy. His beard extending well past his waist, almost to his knees, and the back of his hair sort of draped over, falling over his shoulders. There's a white robe dragging against the floor, and he's using 2 hands to move a cane to alleviate some of the pressure, the difficulty he has in walking. And he gets a little closer. You're a cleric. You must be.
Who are you?
He straightens up a little bit. I am Esvalda, cleric of Bufmir. The last cleric of Bufmir. When a cleric enters a soul shelter, and he sort of props himself over on his cane, they are sometimes able to see that which their god has forbidden them to see. The things that your god knows are a part of you, because you are a part of him. But a deity can build a wall around your mind and decide what you can see and what you cannot. Some can even take your own memories and place them outside the wall, and it is as if they are forgotten. But the soul shelter removes this wall, and sometimes you catch a glimpse of what was once known but lost, or what is meant but not meant for you to see.
When I look at Shangri-La, does she look younger than when I saw her?
No.
She looks the same age. Fuck.
What are you doing in my soul shelter?
It is yours? You built it?
I had it built, yes.
Why?
Give me a persuasion check.
Dirty 20.
Bufmir's time is long overdue. The clerics of Bufmir are generational recurrent. This is a phrase that you've heard before. He goes on to explain, but you're familiar with it. Meaning that after the last cleric dies, a new batch of clerics is chosen. But if the last cleric dies here, in a soul shelter, a god cannot reclaim his connective powers, and he withers away.
Is it the same with all of the meddling gods?
I believe so. The only problem is, for me, I don't know if the other clerics of Bufmir are alive or dead. So,
I must attempt to stay alive as long as I possibly can. Until time takes me.
You wish for him to waste away.
I do.
I'm Graven of Kuuzni.
I know the name.
I believe that I am the only one. Should I not?
Not what?
Is it possible that he has others?
It is.
Did your god lie to you?
Gods are supposed to come and go in a natural course. Hundreds, thousands, sometimes even tens of thousands of years. But their connection to this world waxes and wanes. It is not supposed to be man's responsibility to decide when a god has run its course. But something is happening. Maybe you feel it. The gods are getting reckless. There are more of them than ever, exerting influence over our world. More than ever meddling. Whatever power is responsible for severing their connection when the time is right, they've found a way around it. I feel this. Not all gods are benevolent, but even for the ones that aren't, the cleric god Link is a sacred one. It is supposed to be that a god must keep his cleric content, whether that is through power, or kindness, or enlightenment, or risk a great weakening of their power. But this is no longer the case. Gods disrespect their clerics and face no consequences. This is not how it is supposed to be. Their power only grows. And their grip on this world gets tighter. I do not know how to fix this, but I hope that by forcing Bufmir into obscurity, I will have helped in some small way. Are you a disrespected man, Graven of Kuuzni?
Yes.
Then you know that it is turning. There was something once that was supposed to take a god when it was time, but it is not there anymore.
What?
I don't know. Gods did not always have this kind of free reign.
My god claims to have made a final request of me, and that if I fulfill it, he will release me.
Do you believe him?
No. For selfish reasons, I want this deed done as well. But now I fear that anything that he wants cannot be good.
I know this feeling. I felt it. And that is why I am here. Perhaps you should join me, Graven of Kuuzni.
If I knew for certain, if there could be no doubt, that if I died here right now, that he would fade into nothing. I would do it.
I believe you. That which you saw that disturbed you, it may not change that. Does that change your mind?
I don't know.
It is okay not to know.
I've had so little control.
This is not how it should be between a god and his cleric.
Why didn't you choose to serve another?
It is not always that simple. If my god had given me the chance that yours offers you, I probably would have taken it. For better or for worse. I was given no such option.
If I leave here and somehow come across another cleric of Bufmir, you wish them dead.
You would be doing this world a great service, but I will not burden you with this.
He reaches down and kind of reaches shakily into the pocket of his robe, and he takes out, opens his hand, and it looks like some magical good berries that you've seen before.
I can live for a very long time down here.
There are many who think it would be a service if I did stay down here and die.
But some important ones who wouldn't, no doubt.
Important to who? That is subjective.
A withering god does not necessarily go quietly.
In your experience, is there another way to sever this tie?
Yes. Lure the deity into a mortal form and destroy it.
How does one lure a deity into a mortal form?
If I knew that, I wouldn't be here.
Right.
I presume you came here to speak with your friends. Do what you need to do, and then go.
May I ask you, you said that there once was a way to force the end of a god. You do not have any other information.
Force the what?
The end of a god. The end of its cycle, its natural lifespan.
As I said, there used to be something out there, a great power, something.
The only great power I've ever heard of in any way, I don't even know if it's as great as a god, but we know that creatures of the Underdark have been disturbed.
No, something more than that.
You cannot think of any specific.
I know that gods used to come and go because of this. They feared it.
And it was a magic of some kind?
Isn't like
Yes, I believe so.
That has, since that time, it's been lost.
The knowledge has been lost, yes.
And if one were to find it again?
They could bring balance.
I've slain countless men and beasts in his name. Is it possible that I have been gathering him strength through these deaths?
I had this thought myself of my own work. I don't know.
This final beast is very powerful. The Shade Assembly have it locked away, but alive in Finlock Forest. Is it because they know, too?
It is possible, but I don't know.
perhaps.
Must find a way to bind him to his word. That he may release you.
You bind a god to his word.
I don't.
Thank you.
I will let you speak.
Thank you.
If we leave here, when we leave here, will we be in danger? Will he be in danger? Do gods know that you've entered a soul shelter?
It is the nature of a soul shelter to be undetectable to the divine, both on the inside and outside. This means that a god doesn't know that it has lost connection until you are already within the walls. If you have a vengeful god, it's not the going in that is the dangerous part. It's the coming out.
You also said you had somebody build this for you?
Yes.
Who?
Ganassi.
What kind of Ganassi?
Many. I had a good relationship with many of the Ganassi of Antisuyu. They have a way of getting materials from other planes, elemental planes. That is what the soul shelter is built of.
A companion of ours. Kuzni tried to take control of me. All she did was take my arm, and he lost his connection. What did she do? Have you seen this power before?
I think your friend is touched by the divine.
A cleric herself.
Or a bastard.
What is that?
A demigod, child of the divine, discarded, unwanted.
Are there many of them?
No.
Could that person have the power to sever a connection to a god?
Not forever. Only temporarily, I'm sure.
Could that person have the power to lure a god into a mortal body?
Maybe.
Again, if we knew.
Right.
Conduct your affairs and then go. I'm going to take a walk. See if I can find that memory I like.
Thank you.
Thank you.
He disappears into the dark.
Do I still see the Goliaths all around me?
Yeah.
How much do I know of, I obviously know that,
I'm sorry.
how much do I know about Jillian's family tree, basically?
Play with the horses.
I just know the one.
what you know. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you alright? I'm sorry about your tribe.
It would seem that they are bound, even as we speak.
Bound?
Bound by Kuzni.
Can you tell where, any location?
I see only their forms.
Are they even on this plane of existence?
I do not know.
Tell us as much as you can.
I have been in Kuzni's service since I was 14 years old. I gave myself to him. I trusted everything he told me. He would whisper the name of a target, and I would destroy it. And I would let nothing stand in my way. The most recent of which, this chimera.
And he's promised you your freedom if you get in this beast.
A promise from Kuzni is...
Right.
You said you had...
It's nothing.
You said you had ulterior motives, as personal purpose for this chimera.
He must be trying to draw power from it.
I gave myself to him because I was an empty, discarded boy. I was cast out by my siblings as soon as they had the strength to do so.
Sorry.
First son of a mother whose former lover was an abusive wretch, and I was a reminder of him to her. I used to have nightmares. No clear faces, but I saw their twisted faces, outstretched arms, twisted in hatred and outstretched to cast me out. Five years ago, I was tracking the chimera through the mountains of Wixa. That is where I saw what we saw. Something like what we saw. The goats, the carnage. I also found, in the wreckage of a village, strewn among the bodies was a hatch. I went down, looking for shelter before I made a final climb towards where the chimera was roosting. When I filled the room with my light, I saw that it was a kind of studio, an artist studio. Every painting was the same. A young Goliath with orange eyes. Paintings of me.
Done by whom?
I tore the place apart and found tomes and tomes, journals. Dating back to a day, decades ago, when in that village, a bright light shone, and a voice spoke. And all the Goliaths in my tribe were bound by white-hot chains. Chains that made scars like these. Now when I have those dreams, I see that their faces are twisted, not in hatred, but in grief. Their arms outstretched not to cast me out, but to comfort a mother whose 14-year-old son disappeared in a flash of light. In that moment, I knew that Kuzney had lied to me, that he had taken me from my family. I tore his holy symbol from me and I conjured a ball of flame. I tried to destroy the relic, but he would not go quietly. White-hot chains once again erupted from the relic and made these what you see here. And it embedded itself in my palm. Ever since that day, I have been trying to sever myself from him.
Do you know who had been recording the journals, who had been doing the paintings?
I believe that the Chimera tore through the village and destroyed what was left of my family. Except now I see, here, now, Ayana. I believe Ayana Sangri-La is my sister. I don't know where she is, and I don't know if she can help us, but he has him.
She is the one you referred to as the bastard of the divine?
No, Jillian. Jillian would be the bastard of the divine. When she touched me,
Sever, you mean?
when I was approaching the Lakafuyu,
Yes,
she stopped Kuzney from attacking them.
yes.
That's what I asked him about.
I thought you were referring to when you went missing.
I don't know if Sangri-La, Ayana, the name's only just come back to me.
It's alright.
Kuzney purged me of my memories.
So you have no memories. What do you remember?
Of what?
anything. How long do your memories go back?
There are names, flashes, bourrage.
You don't remember the names of the targets he gave you, the towns you went to?
I have killed many things.
Yes, but does your memory fade after a target is completed, or how does...
Not always.
So this chimera we're on our way to kill. Do we think we should focus on killing it or trying
As I
to...
said, any deed that he wants done, I now question.
Right.
Do you believe that if this chimera destroyed the village where your family was, do you believe that it was acting on Kuuzni's behalf? Or just a random...
He wants it dead. I don't... If he had any connection to it.
But you did say the chimera destroyed the village, that...
I believe so.
Is it just a coincidence, or...
I would have gone the rest of my life without knowing.
So all he wants from you right now, so what he wants from you right now is to destroy the chimera and...
He wants me. He wants me.
But you've some sort of negotiation to break the tie, allegedly, if you destroy the chimera?
I don't think he can trust his god.
I could kill myself.
I know, but I'm just sort of trying to understand the deal that you've sort of asked us to help with.
The tentative agreement is that I destroy this beast, and he allows me to go free.
Does he speak of us? Does he speak of our safety? What's this?
He is very interested in you.
What do you mean? Why is that?
He better be.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
What do you mean he better be? What the hell does that mean?
I don't know. But again, anything that he dislikes must be good. He would have me. He would have me leave you behind.
Why is he so afraid of a teenage tiefling? Why are you grinning?
He knows that you draw your power from the dead.
Your god is afraid of the dead.
You have said that you carry something. Is that what he fears?
I think I found it.
What do you mean you found what? You found what?
Found what?
I have no way of knowing until I get to Navikapura, but the magic that our new cleric friend has just mentioned.
To dissipate a god.
I think I have it.
From where?
How? What?
From the halls? Who at the halls has this?
I do.
No, yes, but how did you come by this?
In the libraries of the halls, it was buried, it was discovered, and I am delivering it.
Does anyone else know about this?
No.
Is this why you escaped?
Yeah.
You've been sent on some sort of mission by someone from the halls of transmutation?
Yes.
What gods do you wish to destroy?
I had no interest in destroying gods until I met you, quite frankly. I didn't even know what I was carrying until I spoke to the young spirit girl.
Who are you delivering it to? Can you tell us?
There's a wizard in the Vikapura named Celis.
Okay.
I'm told that he will be able to assist me, or he will possibly take it himself. I am not sure. But I think I have it.
Why is someone at the halls attempting to... You didn't know each other before, did you?
No.
So then why is someone at the halls trying to kill Kuuzni or
Nobody
any
at the
god.
halls is trying to kill Kuuzni.
It's unrelated.
Magic was discovered at the halls. A long-forgotten, buried magic was found. And I am sure that while we are good people, with the power like this, if anybody who had other alignments...
Do you know how to wield it? What is it?
I don't know how to wield it.
What is it?
It's a page. It's just one page. I cannot read it, and I advise everybody...
Can I see it?
No, you cannot. The spirit that I saw, and I've seen almost 100 others that are associated with this page, all tried to read it and all perished in their attempts to understand it.
Okay.
So I am not reading it until I get to Celis. I am told he will be the man to help me.
So you believe these spirits you've been seeing, the ones that you spoke to Dr. Veto about,
Yes.
are directly connected to the page or something inherent in you?
My guess is I have not interacted with these spirits until I got hold of the page. They seem connected to me in other ways. We're both young. She seems to be attached to me in some way. Dr. Veto kept talking about they recognize a certain innocence in me. So,
But you weren't connected to these spirits prior to having the page?
I believe they are rooted to the page.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, you were told that this page could destroy a god, or you're only piecing this together now? You were just given a piece of substantial magic to take to Navikapura.
I may have asked my gods how to kill Kuuzni, and the spirit girl said I already had the instructions. So
at the halls, they don't know that they have the power to kill a god yet?
Can you rephrase the question?
You were just you were given this page that was discovered by someone at the halls, your master or something?
Yes, one person, just one person.
And do you believe this person knows what power you are transporting to Mikapura?
Yes.
Or do you think that it's just they know it is powerful magic? In general, they
With
don't
what
know.
this person had to sacrifice in order to assist me in escaping, she knows what it is.
This was
you taught me, yes, secretly.
Well, the man who just spoke to us, the cleric, he just was telling us that the meddling gods have gotten more powerful, have been bringing imbalance, and...
Yes, because I'm assuming
Because this magic had been lost.
Yes.
We're killing gods now, my goodness.
We are not killing gods. I am learning how to kill gods.
Yes, but
I'm going to kill that god.
Not alone, you're not. If you think you're going to do that alone, you're out of your mind.
We don't know, Safira, we don't know what the page does. We don't know how it works. We don't know how the arcane sort of magic works. We don't know if it just dissipates the god or if the god takes a form and we have to fight it. We don't know.
According to what he said, it seemed like maybe there has to be an element of luring this god into a mortal
We don't
form.
know, but we don't know what the page does.
Look, I'm just saying you're not alone in this.
Oh, I know that.
Graven, is there anything we can do to protect you once we get out of here? Is there anything we can...
I don't know.
I believe I have the answer to that as well.
You do? What?
I'm just gonna take out her flower again.
That's pretty. Do you think...
It protects you from attacks from gods.
I'm counting like the petals on it, trying to...
There's 7 of them.
I also may have rejected his gift in the night.
Orba, why?
I had to see if it worked.
But
the
what
ghost
do you
girl
mean-
told me that it would protect me from gods.
And Safira's staring at the...
I'm already experiencing the side effects of having undead things come at me, so I may as well try if the good part of the thing
There were
works.
only... you don't
He
have any...
was displeased.
Extremely. I lost a petal.
But I
He
don't...
tried to harm her.
I don't think that's
Yes.
a great idea because now he's paying attention to. Look, don't you? What's the
Cozy knows
element of
that I have this.
surprise?
That's no secret. If he walks out of here, he's going to be absolutely obliterated by this man, this divine being.
So you think if he holds the flower, he'll be protected?
At least for maybe an instance of...
But his god's not going to go away. He's just attacking as soon as he...
Sure, but he seems like a hot-headed kind of fellow, so maybe after one instance he'll be like, okay.
Look, you can tell. You should have a
Before
plan.
we leave,
Perfect plan!
before we leave, I should say, as my memories...
Write it down right now.
No,
No, really.
We may learn things together about me and about what I have done.
What are you asking?
I cannot ask your forgiveness in advance, but
It's hard to judge a slave by what his master tells him to do.
Did you have any control over what you were doing? Did you know what you were doing? Because I know, for example, now when you conjure light, you have some control. You have an understanding of where you are. You're not in a blind rage. When you were killing these targets, when you were destroying these places, did you have a choice? Did you have memory, or was it in sort of a blind possession?
I took his word as divine. There was no right and wrong.
There was
There
his
was
word.
the will of a god.
Did he give you reasons for the killings? Is that what you're saying you believed, or you just sort of passion overtook you?
I'm saying that
It was the word of God and it was to be done.
it was the word of a god and it was to be done, yes. I have at least once come across somebody who tried to kill me on sight because I murdered her entire village.
And you don't remember the village?
Bits and pieces.
A whole village, Graven.
It was the will of a god.
Fair enough for her to want to kill you on sight.
It's a moment of quiet contemplation among the group. And up at the top, on the surface,
Oh boy.
standing watch at the base of the crown's gold tree. Some time passes. You're not really sure what you were expecting. You didn't know if it would be minutes, an hour, hours multiple. And you admire how beautiful the grove is when you're not running from danger or fleeing a storm. The horses seem especially at peace. Soft, relaxed nostrils, loose, downward curling lips. Their tails swing back and forth, evenly, gently. There's a flurry of animal activity overhead, squirrels and birds finding new branches to their liking, which causes the shadows on the ground to dance and sway. For a moment, the brightness of the sky above swells and then returns to the same light as before, perhaps the sun finally peeking out from behind a cloud before becoming lightly obscured once more. You feel like with the wealth of light and the openness of the area that you could spot someone coming from hundreds of feet away, which makes it all the more surprising when you hear shuffling footsteps. And a man emerges from behind a tree, making his way in your direction, or at least towards the crown's goal. He looks human, with dark, slicked-back hair that's short on the sides. He has a full beard that flares out on the sides, but a trimmed, thin mustache under his lower lip as well. He has a red tunic with a greenish vest over it, a double-corded belt keeping it tight at the waist, and a couple of necklaces or pendants kind of hanging from his neck
that are slightly obscured by a green kind of scarf or shawl resting on his shoulders. There's some tattooing on his wrists that you see clearer as he comes closer. It's a band of black around the wrist, and then 2 arrows pointing in opposite directions. So there's one arrow pointing up on the back of his hand, and then one pointing down, sort of in to his forearm. It's on both hands, both wrists. And he approaches. Again, doesn't really look at you. He's focused on the tree.
Hello? Sir. Are you looking for something?
I'm here to meet someone.
Oh.
Who's that? Can I help you find them?
And that's where we're going to pick up.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna have to fight this guy.
You're gonna have to fight Kuuzni by yourself.
Good thing I filled up that jacket. That's all I have to say.
You have got
How does he know he's in there?
Oh my god!
He searched for me and he doesn't know where I am. I must be in
No,
a
but
soul
the guy
shelter.
said that, like, going in wasn't the dangerous part.
I know, but if he reached out to me and he's like, well, Kuzni isn't on this plane. I mean, Graven isn't on this plane.
Your voicemail went off and it was like, yes, you've reached
Yeah.
Graven.
Oh my god.
Well, it's like if you were tracking something with a map and you see the little
He went
dot
right
and then the
to
dot
voicemail.
disappears.
Didn't ring, went right to voicemail.
didn't
He
even
must be
ring.
underground.
Jesus.
We have to wait 2 weeks to. We're all gonna die.
We're all gonna die.
You don't have to wait 2 weeks. You only have to wait 1 week.
Was not expecting that.
Maybe you won't die. Maybe I'll kill
How
him.
long do you think it takes for me to learn this very difficult spell that's sitting in?
You guys, I actually have way more I need to say and should have said. So.
I just missed that
Yes.
whole thing. So technically
still
I
keep
know
talking.
what
You
was
can't
going
come
on.
I
That's
know.
true. He can't come
Little
in.
time.
Here
Think.
all day.
Some time in the soul
In fact,
shelter.
it's just gonna be a lot of us inside the soul shelter, him right on the outside. We're just gonna be like.
I've been sunbathing, eating mushrooms, playing with the horses.
Got to dig into Graven's story a bit, hearing about the tales,
More to say.
connection with Graven and Kuuzni,
What?
learning about what Orba may be carrying with her,
God.
and that is where we will pick up.
Oh my
the
god.
hell?
Yeah, how?
That's right.
Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Last episode is a very combat-heavy episode. This episode, a very sort of lore-heavy episode.
And puzzles.
And some puzzles along
Oh
the
my
way.
God.
Well done with the puzzle.
Love the puzzle.
Once you guys dug up the books,
Wait,
you
which
got your
book do
footing
you all
there.
have?
I was really excited. Mine's really cool.
I have Artemis Fowl, the Arctic Incident.
There's a
Oh.
couple
I
Artemis
have the
Fowls.
Eternity Code.
Norse mythology.
Very
Neil Gaiman's Norse
appropriate.
Very
mythology.
appropriate.
Narn Ichin Hurin. The Tale of the Children of Hurin by J.R.R. Tolkien.
A Tolkien.
Oh, Hurin, yeah.
Thank you guys so much for joining us, as always. We really
Yay.
appreciate your viewership, your time, and we will be taking a week off, but of course it will only be 1 week from seeing this that we will be picking it up yet again after
You have a
Thanksgiving.
chance to
And we'll be in chat
Yes.
right now. Well, like, for we
We will have been in chat.
this whole time.
It's really
Our time
Oh,
jokes
God.
are bad, you guys.
I
No, that was actually
It's
not
okay. This is the
figuring
last
out
time you'll have to
time.
hear us make these
Make a stupid time
time
joke.
jokes.
No more pre-recorded.
Thank you guys so much, seriously. We'll be back. At this point, you will have had a happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
So we hope you had a wonderful
Finish up
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving weekend.
That tree better be
It'll be
up
almost
now.
time for
Get that
Hanukkah by the
Christmas
time
tree
we
out.
see it.
Yep.
And the Hanukkah lights.
If I've been tech savvy, I might be able to thank people for their subscriptions and their raids or bits, anything, while the VOD is playing.
Once again, if you joined in the middle of this and you're now seeing it, this was a pre-recorded episode while we change spaces. So this next week will be live. So we'll be live again. But if we didn't thank you for a subscription or bits or something,
Yeah,
that's
thank
why
you.
it's pre-recorded. We will try to
We still love
shout it out in the
We
chat
still
for
love
the
you.
next week.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Wow.
We will see you next week, and we'll pick it up there.
Wow.
To
Oh
7-Eleven,
my goody
everybody.
God.
Cheers to our final
Cheers to the
stream in the
studio.
studio.
Cheers.
7-Eleven.
Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.